Chapter 31-22. The teleportation profundity that Duan Lingtian had comprehended was only at the rudimentary stage. His maximum teleportation distance was only 100 meters. But now, the young man in purple who looked exactly like him in the illusion used the law of wood to condense vines that were full of thorns and directly sealed the area around him within 100 meters, preventing him from using the teleportation profundity. After all, even if Duan Lingtian used the teleportation profundity, he would still be trapped in the area covered by the thorny vines. Do you think that's all I have? Duan Lingtian sneered. His celestial origin energy surged out of his body and merged with the space elemental profundity to form the spatial territory around him. The spatial territory profundity was one of the profundities from the law of space. The moment the space domain was formed, the domain covered an area of 10 meters. The thorny vines were immediately attacked by the space domain, and in the blink of an eye, they were riddled with holes. However, they were still holding on as if they were not afraid of death. Moreover, in the blink of an eye, a layer of faint green light appeared on the thorny vines. The green light appeared for a while, then disappeared. At the same time, it was not difficult to see that the thorny vines that were originally riddled with holes had completely healed. The energy from the spatial territory continued to damage the thorny vines, but the green light healed the thorny vines in just a blink of an eye. Is this another profundity from the law of wood? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he saw this. Up until now, the purple-clad young man who looked exactly like him had already cast several profundities from the law of wood. Moreover, the purple-clad young man's cultivation base was the same as his, a 10-direction celestial duke. Duan Lingtian had discovered this earlier when they exchanged blows earlier. The cross-dimensional profundity. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. A tearing sound rang in the air as a tiny spatial tear appeared out of thin air beside him. Just as the spatial crack opened, a grayish, blade-like flowing light flew out from behind the crack. It was like an attack from another dimensional space, crossing the space and arriving here. As the saber ray swept past, it left a saber mark in the air. Wherever it passed, the vines that enveloped Duan Lingtian's body were all severed. The saber light was like an unstoppable force. Wherever it passed, it was unstoppable. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Just as Duan Lingtian was about to use the law of space's cross-dimensional profundity to save himself, sharp wooden spikes shot toward Duan Lingtian like arrows. At the same time, the wooden spikes shone with a green light. It was clear the spatial territory was no match for them. However, if he used dimensional he would only be able to destroy a portion of the wooden spikes. Most of the wooden spikes would still fly toward Duan Lingtian. Distortion profound. Faced with the menacing wooden spike attack, Duan Lingtian's robe suddenly fluttered. In the next moment, the space around his body began to distort and tremble again. It was as though the entire space had been distorted. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The wooden spikes came one after another and entered the distorted space in a moment. Immediately, the distorted space vibrated, and the wooden spikes that had shot in were broken and shattered. But during this process, as the green light on the wooden spike flickered, the wooden spike that had been broken and shattered actually gathered together again, as if it was not affected by the distorted void at all. Suddenly, a portion of the wooden spikes rushed through the distorted space and whizzed toward Duan Lingtian like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. They gradually closed in on Duan Lingtian and wanted to kill Duan Lingtian. Another profound meaning? Duan Lingtian's eyes were fixed on the wooden spikes that were whizzing toward him. After passing through the distorted space, the power of the wooden spikes that had escaped the net did not weaken at all. Instead, it seemed to have grown stronger. Duan Lingtian did not find it difficult to discover that this fierce attack contained another profound of the law of wood that his opponent had not used before. The restraining profundity. Duan Lingtian knew the illusion before his eyes was either the pavilion master of the Imperial Tutor Pavilion testing his strength or a test to see if he could become the first Imperial Tutor in the Imperial Tutor Pavilion in 30,000 years. Naturally, he was more inclined to believe the former. For this reason, even if he had other methods to defend himself, he still chose to use the restraining profundity from the law of space that he had comprehended. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Duan Lingtian's eyes were locked on the dozens of wooden spikes that were charging at him menacingly. He activated the confinement profundity and directly confined the space around them. It was as though he had placed them in a completely enclosed space. In the next moment, the dozens of wooden spikes paused in the void as if they had collided with something. They were all blocked and then annihilated in the void. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by this. After all, he had discovered the wooden spikes were formed by his celestial origin energy that had been boosted with the law of wood's fundamental profundity, the wood elemental profundity. As soon as Duanling Tian used the restraining profundity to block the wooden spikes, he saw a flash before his eyes. In the next moment, not only did his opponent disappear, but the vast stone platform beneath his feet had also changed. It was as though nothing had happened. "I'm out." When light returned to Duanling Tian's eyes, he discovered he had returned to the valley. In front of him was a world filled with birds and fragrant flowers. There was also a simple and unadorned palace. On the plaque above the entrance of the palace, 3 large words were written in flamboyant calligraphy. Imperial Tutor Pavilion. You want to become the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion? At this moment, a deep and hoarse voice rang in Duanling Tian's ears. Duanling Tian could tell the voice belonged to the person who had injured Qi Tianming earlier. The person must be the elusive pavilion master of the profound Nether Mansion's Imperial Tutor Pavilion. He hastily replied, "Yes, senior." "What?" The deep and hoarse voice rang again. It was clear the person was asking why Duanling Tian wanted to become the Imperial Tutor of the Imperial Tutor Pavilion. "What?" Duanling Tian was taken aback when he heard the question. However, he quickly revealed the reason he wanted to become the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion. "This way I'll be able to enter the profound Nether Mansion through a shortcut. Moreover, if I become the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion, I'll be able to obtain a large amount of cultivation resources from the profound Nether Mansion. I want to use the profound Nether Mansion as a springboard to leave the profound Nether Mansion and the Southern Heaven Territory. I don't plan to stay in the Southern Heaven Territory forever." Duanling Tian's words were impassioned. To others, it seemed like he was unwilling to stay in the Southern Heaven Territory and wanted to be the tail of a phoenix. However, the truth was that Duanling Tian was not only unwilling to stay in the Southern Heaven Territory, but he was also unwilling to stay in the Devata realms. This was because his goal was to kill his way into the world of divine remains in the next 1,000 years and rescue his wife, his children, and his family and friends. At that time, if he did not have the strength to transcend the Devata realms, everything would be in vain. "You're quite ambitious and you're quite an honest person." The deep and hoarse voice rang again. It was clear the Imperial Tutor agreed with Duanling Tian's words. However, the Imperial Tutor did not say anything else. The atmosphere was deathly silent. "Senior." In the end, it was Duanling Tian who broke the silence. "Is everything I've just faced a test from the Imperial Tutor Pavilion? Or do you think I'm qualified to become the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion's Imperial Tutor Pavilion in the past 30,000 years with my age and strength? I merely wanted to test your strength earlier." "It's not a test from the Imperial Tutor Pavilion," the Imperial Tutor Pavilion replied. "Indeed, you're qualified to become the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion's Imperial Tutor in the past 30,000 years. However, before that, you'll have to pass the test from the Imperial Tutor Pavilion." "What test?" Duanling Tian asked. "You'll have to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and compete for the first place on the scoreboard. If you're able to rank first for 12 consecutive months, you'll be the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion's history in the past 30,000 years. The Imperial Tutor Pavilion's voice continued to tell Duanling Tian about the test from the Imperial Tutor Pavilion. The test was to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and compete for the first place on the scoreboard. If Duanling Tian managed to rank first for 12 consecutive months, he would be the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion's history in the past 30,000 years. "Senior, this test." Duanling Tian could not help but smile wryly when he heard the Imperial Tutor Pavilion's words. Although Duanling Tian was confident in his current strength, it was still difficult for him to maintain the top spot in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm for 12 consecutive months. During his journey to the profound Nether Mansion, Duanling Tian had learned from Qi Tianming that the 10 directions celestial dukes sent by the major celestial mansions to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were not to be underestimated. If you want to give up, you can leave the profound Nether Mansion now. When the time comes for the 3 sects and 2 clans to recruit disciples, you can join the profound Nether Mansion as a disciple of the Simplicity Celestial Sect. The test won't be difficult for you." The Imperial Tutor Pavilion's voice sounded as though he was certain Duanling Tian would agree to the test. After all, Duanling Tian had said he wanted to become the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion's history in the past 30,000 years so he could join the profound Nether Mansion through a shortcut. "I agree." Although Duanling Tian had no choice but to agree to the Imperial Tutor Pavilion's request. He knew that he had sold himself out with his words, but he had no other choice now. Moreover, it was only a matter of time before he entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Duan Lingtian had planned to rank first for 24 consecutive months in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm so he could join the Profound Nether Mansions clan and enter the highest stage in the Southern Heaven territory. The Profound Nether Mansions clan was one of the 10 major clans in the Southern Heaven territory. Chapter 31-23. I agree. As soon as Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, the valley fell silent. The voice of the pavilion master of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion no longer sounded as though he had vanished without a trace. After a moment, Duan Lingtian finally said, "Senior," swoosh. Before he could finish speaking, a token flew out from the direction of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion and whistled toward Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian casually caught it in his hand. When he looked at the order token, he saw the reverse side of the order token. There were complicated inscriptions on the sides of the order token, but there was no space in the middle. He flipped the order token over and saw the words Profound Nether Mansion were inscribed on the front. The words Profound Nether Mansion were slightly smaller than the words Profound Nether Mansion on the second line. Outer Court Disciple. This is the Profound Nether Mansion's Outer Court Disciple Identity Token. Inscribe your name on the back and drip a drop of your blood on it to claim ownership of it. You're now an Outer Court Disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion. With this identity token, you can head to the transporting formation in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm to collect your points and enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The pavilion master of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion continued to speak as soon as Duan Lingtian took the order token. You're only allowed to stay in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm for 10 days a month. For the remaining 20 days, look for the person who brought you here and ask him to arrange a place for you to stay. When you're able to rank first for 12 consecutive months, you'll be promoted to the Imperial Tutor of the Profound Nether Mansion and enjoy the cultivation resources provided by the Imperial Tudor Pavilion. You may leave now. As soon as the pavilion master of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion finished speaking, a flash appeared before Duan Lingtian's eyes again. The waterfall appeared again, and he returned to the huge cobblestone in front of the waterfall. Upon seeing this, Duan Lingtian did not say anything else and contacted Qi Tianming through a communication celestial talisman. Since he had exchanged soul pearls with Qi Tianming on his way to the Profound Nether Mansion, it was easy for him to contact Qi Tianming. Rank first for 12 consecutive months in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? When Qi Tianming found out about the test that the Imperial Tudor Pavilion had set for Duan Lingtian, he was somewhat stunned. Because this was really too much to ask of him. After all, Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old yet. In the history of the Southern Heaven Territory, not only was there no 10 Directions Celestial Duke younger than 100 years old, but there were only a few who dared to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Even if they did enter, they would only go sightseeing. When they saw people, they would immediately crush their jade tokens and come out. However, not only did the pavilion master of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion want Duan Lingtian to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, but he also wanted Duan Lingtian to be ranked first for 12 consecutive months in order to become the new Imperial Tutor of the Profound Nether Mansion. If the Imperial Tudor Pavilion's test for Imperial Tutors under the age of 100 had always been like this, before Duan Lingtian's appearance, Qi Tianming would have thought that Duan Lingtian was a genius. Based on this, the Profound Nether Mansion might not be able to produce another Imperial Tutor even after 300,000 years, let alone 30,000 years. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. I also think this test is a little difficult. However, since it's been set, I can only follow it. It's like this? Even Lord Mansion Master can't change the decision of the Pavilion Master of the Imperial Tudor Pavilion, let alone me. Qi Tianming sighed. Then he brought Duan Lingtian back to his residence on the main island of the Profound Nether Mansion's estate. The cultivation environment there was the best among all the cultivation environments Duan Lingtian had encountered since he came to the Devata realms. Even the cultivation environment outside the Imperial Tudor Pavilion could not compare to the cultivation environment here. Naturally, Duan Lingtian knew the cultivation environment here was not good. The cultivation environment outside the Imperial Tudor Pavilion could not compare to the cultivation environment inside the Imperial Tudor Pavilion. The cultivation environment inside the Imperial Tudor Pavilion could only be better than the cultivation environment here. You can stay here for the time being, Qi Tianming said. Duan Lingtian nodded. Old Qi, won't this be too much of a hassle? Duan Lingtian could sense Qi Tianming's kindness. Since I'm an outer court disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion, I should be able to have my own residence and cultivation place, right? Yes, but the environment can't compare to my residence, Qi Tianming said. Qi Tianming said, with your talent, there's no need for you to be held back by the cultivation environment there. You can stay with me for now. When you pass the test set by the Imperial Tutor Pavilion, you can leave and go there. Although I've never been to the Imperial Tutor Pavilion, I heard it has the best cultivation environment in the profound Nether Mansion's estate. Even Lord Mansion Master often goes there to cultivate. The Mansion Master of the profound Nether Mansion often goes to the Imperial Tutor Pavilion to cultivate? At this moment, Duanling Tian was certain the Imperial Tutor Pavilion's cultivation environment was better than the cultivation environment of the Mansion Master of the profound Nether Mansion. Although Duanling Tian was not picky about his cultivation environment, he had the Divine Tree of Life. With the help of the Divine Tree of Life, he could ignore the cultivation environment of the Imperial Tutor Pavilion. However, the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion and the Imperial Tutor Pavilion would not only provide him with a better cultivation environment, but he would also be able to obtain a lot of cultivation resources that he desperately needed to improve his strength. For this reason, he wanted to become the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion and enter the Imperial Tutor Pavilion as soon as possible. Old Qi, where's the transporting formation to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Duanling Tian asked as he looked at Qi Tianming. What? You're planning to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm now? Qi Tianming was surprised. Elder Qi, didn't you say the scoreboard in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm will be refreshed in 7 days? Duanling Tian's eyes glinted. So, you're planning to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm during the last 7 days of the month? Qi Tianming shook his head. Duanling Tian, the celestial dukes from the major celestial mansions in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm are all extraordinary celestial dukes. Even if you're strong enough to disregard all the celestial dukes, it's still impossible for you to rank first. Why? Duanling Tian was puzzled. Because the scoreboard is coming to an end. Most of the powerful celestial dukes have used up their time in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm to accumulate points. The competition for points is the most intense between the beginning and the middle of the month. It's very rare for someone to rank high in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm at the end of the month. Qi Tianming explained. Upon hearing Qi Tianming's explanation, Duanling Tian could empathize with Qi Tianming. After all, some of the people in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm had far more points than those behind them. Since they had already spent 10 days in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, they could only wait for the scoreboard to be released. This was the case for most people. For this reason, those who had accumulated a lot of points would not enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm at the end of the month. Under such circumstances, no matter how strong one was and how many points one could snatch from the hands of immortal monarchs, there would not be many immortal monarchs with points for one to snatch, and one would not be able to obtain more points. I see. After learning about the situation, Duanling Tian decided to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm to take a look. Even if he could not rank high in the scoreboard this month, he could still enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm to learn more about the situation and prepare himself for the next month. Duanling Tian shared his thoughts with Qi Tianming, and Qi Tianming agreed. You have a point. Since you want to enter the middle realm, I'll bring you there. Each of the 3 main islands in the profound Nether Mansion's estate has a transporting formation that can send disciples to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. I'll bring you to the transporting formation on the main island. Under Qi Tianming's lead, Duanling Tian arrived at the transporting formation that would lead to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. This mansion was different from Qi Tianming's mansion. It occupied more of the courtyard in front of the mansion. At this moment, many people were standing around a huge light screen in the middle of the courtyard. They were pointing at the screen as they discussed among themselves. Lu Ji from the Hanqing mansion only entered the middle realm 5 days ago, but he has already accumulated so many points. Moreover, his points are still increasing. It seems like it won't be difficult for him to rank in the top 30 this time. I'm currently paying attention to Leng Yunyu from the Green Spirit Mansion. He's the last person to enter the middle realm among the top 20. He'll be out in an hour. He's currently ranked 11th. Moreover, he's only 10 points away from the 10th place. I wonder if he'll be able to accumulate enough points to rank in the top 10 within the next hour? I'm also paying attention to Leng Yunyu. He's been in the top 10 for the past year. If he's lucky, he won't have any problems ranking in the top 10. The courtyard was bustling with noise and excitement as the people discussed among themselves. I remember senior brother Zhou Hongjie hasn't ranked in the top 20 for almost a year, right? The courtyard fell silent as soon as Qi Tianming's voice rang in the air. At this moment, Duan Lingtian followed Qi Tianming into the courtyard. His footsteps were not loud, but they attracted a lot of attention in the quiet courtyard. Immediately many people recognized Qi Tianming and greeted him. Lord Inspector. Lord Inspector. The rest of the people present on the scene greeted Qi Tianming as well. After all, the inspector's status in the profound nether mansion was second only to the mansion master, the vice mansion masters, and the palace masters of the Saint Palaces who rarely appeared in public. Zhou Hongjie is the 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the profound nether mansion who has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wood. He's one of the few core disciples in the profound nether mansion whose cultivation base is below the Celestial King stage. Chapter 31-24. Previously, when Duan Lingtian was traveling to the profound nether mansion from the Simplicity Celestial sect, he had heard from Qi Tianming that the profound nether mansion had nurtured some powerful 10 Directions Celestial Dukes in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. There were a few who had comprehended 6 profundities from a law, but there was only one who had comprehended 7 profundities from a law. The person who had comprehended 7 profundities from a law was none other than the law of wood. Zhou Hongjie. Duan Lingtian made a mental note of the person's name. Based on the discussion earlier, he learned that Zhou Hongjie's name was Zhou Hongjie. It had been almost a year since Zhou Hongjie had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wood in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. He's still not in the top 20 even though he has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of wood. It seems like the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes from the other celestial mansions in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm are not to be underestimated. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to guess that the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes from the other Grade 6 celestial mansions in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were not to be underestimated. There must be some 10 Directions Celestial Dukes who had comprehended 7 profundities from a law in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Otherwise, with Zhou Hongjie's strength, how could he not be in the top 20 after such a long time? Duan Lingtian was not surprised when Qi Tianming said Zhou Hongjie was a core disciple of the profound nether mansion. In the profound nether mansion, apart from some powerful 10 Directions Celestial Dukes, most of the disciples below the Celestial King realm were outer court disciples. This was because the test to become an inner court disciple was extremely difficult. Only 10 Directions Celestial Dukes or Celestial Kings would be able to pass it. As for the core disciples, they had to be Celestial Kings below the age of 1000. Not only was strength important, but innate talent was also important. Although Zhou Hongjie was still a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, his attainments in the profundities of the law had surpassed most of the core disciples in the profound nether mansion. Moreover, the reason Zhou Hongjie's cultivation base had not improved was due to the profound nether mansion's order. Otherwise, he would have long broken through and become a Celestial King. For this reason, Duan Lingtian was not surprised that Duan Lingtian was a core disciple of the profound nether mansion. The light screen in the middle of the courtyard shows the scoreboard of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Naturally, the scoreboard only shows the ranking for this month. If you want to check the past rankings, you'll have to go inside. Qi Tianming said to Duan Lingtian as he led Duan Lingtian into the mansion behind the spacious courtyard. Upon seeing Qi Tianming leading the way for Duan Lingtian, the profound nether mansion's disciples in the courtyard were curious about Duan Lingtian's identity. Who's that purple-clad young man? I don't think I've seen such a person before. For Patrol Inspector Qi to personally lead the way for him, he must not be a simple person. Inspector Qi is by his side, so my divine sense doesn't dare to approach him rashly. But even if it doesn't approach, I can still sense some of his aura. He's not even 100 years old. Not even 100 years old? Initially, I thought Inspector Qi found external help to help the profound nether mansion in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. However, it seems like I was overthinking things. External help? It's not easy to find external help. Put aside the fact that there are very few sectless 10 Directions Celestial Dukes below the age of 1000, even if there are, they would have been recruited by other Grade 6 celestial mansions. The disciples from the profound nether mansion were curious about Duan Lingtian's identity. After all, Qi Tianming, one of the 10 inspectors of the profound nether mansion, had to personally lead the way for Duan Lingtian. Coupled with the fact that Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old, they could not help but let their imagination run wild. External help? Duan Ling Tian, who had just entered the mansion with Qi Tianming, was slightly taken aback when he overheard the conversation between the profound Nether Mansion's disciples. Then he asked Qi Tianming through voice transmission, "Old Qi, is it possible to find external help?" "Yes." Qi Tianming nodded. "It's not against the rules of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm to look for external help. It's rare for sectless cultivators below the age of 1000 to comprehend 6 profundities from a law. As for sectless cultivators below the age of 1000 who have comprehended 7 profundities from a law, they're even rarer. Generally, only sectless cultivators are willing to help grade 6 celestial mansions. Those who are strong and outstanding disciples from the 10 major clans and 5 great sects won't bother to help grade 6 celestial mansions in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Moreover, the 10 major clans have made it clear that their disciples are not allowed to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Once they're discovered, they'll be expelled from the clan. Therefore, it's impossible for the 10 major clans to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. It's possible for the 5 great sects to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, but they'd have to be motivated by something. Moreover, the great 6 celestial mansions can't meet the requirements of the 5 great sects disciples. Therefore, it's almost impossible for the 5 great sects disciples to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. For this reason, the grade 6 celestial mansions can only seek help from sectless cultivators. Qi Tianming's words made Duan Ling Tian realize that there were many grade 6 celestial mansions in the southern heaven ancient realm. There were many powerhouses in the 10 major clans and 5 great sects who could rank high in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. He was not surprised by this. After all, the 10 major clans and 5 great sects were the top forces in the southern heaven territory. They were not something ordinary forces could compare to. Even the Bloodskull's assassin organization couldn't compare to them. As soon as Qi Tianming finished speaking, Duan Ling Tian followed him into the mansion. Behind the mansion's entrance was a spacious hall. There were more than 10 counters on both sides of the hall, and there was a stone platform in the depths of the hall that was covered with complicated inscriptions and diagrams. You can collect your accumulative point jade from the counters on both sides of the hall. If you want, you can look at the scoreboard of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm every month. As for the stone platform in the depths of the hall, it's the entrance to the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. As long as you're younger than 1000 years old and possess a profound nether mansion's accumulative point jade, you'll be able to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Everyone can only collect 1 accumulative point jade each month. Apart from that, each accumulative point jade can only be used in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm for 10 days. Once the time is up, the transportation formation in the accumulative point jade will be activated and the holder of the accumulative point jade will be sent out of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Qi Tianming explained to Duan Ling Tian as he looked at the counters on both sides of the hall and the stone platform in the depths of the hall. Duan Ling Tian nodded in realization. "Lord Inspector. Lord Inspector." Those who recognized Qi Tianming bowed at him one after another. The remaining people followed suit and bowed as well. After a while, many people turned to look at Duan Ling Tian curiously. Similar to the profound Nether Mansion's disciples outside, they were curious about Duan Ling Tian's identity. What kind of identity did Duan Ling Tian have that made Qi Tianming, one of the 10 inspectors of the profound Nether Mansion, bring him here personally? Is he an outsider? Many people speculated. However, when some of them discovered Duan Ling Tian was only a young man who was not even 100 years old, they dismissed the idea. They thought Duan Ling Tian was just a young master with a powerful background. Help him apply for an accumulative point jade. Qi Tianming brought Duan Ling Tian to one of the counters and said to the middle-aged man behind the counter. The middle-aged man was an ordinary elder of the profound Nether Mansion. He was stunned when he heard Qi Tianming's words. Apply for an accumulative point jade? At the same time, under Qi Tianming's instructions, Duan Ling Tian took out his identity token and placed it on the counter in front of the middle-aged man. "This is my identity token. I want to apply for an accumulative point jade to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm." When Duan Ling Tian took out his identity token, the people in the main hall began to whisper among themselves even though it was only an outer court disciple's identity token. He actually managed to obtain an identity token from a profound Nether Mansion's disciple. It seems like this purple-clad young man has an extraordinary background. He's not even 100 years old, but he's definitely here to sightsee. Not only did Inspector Qi lead the way, but he even has an identity token from the profound Nether Mansion. It's not easy to obtain an identity token from an outer court disciple. That's right. Even Inspector Qi and the 3 Vice Mansion Masters wouldn't be able to obtain an identity token without following the profound Nether Mansion's procedures unless the Mansion Master or the Palace Masters of the 9 Great Saint Palaces intervened. In other words, this purple-clad young man is directly related to the Mansion Master or the 9 Palace Masters. He's not simple. This purple-clad young man is definitely not simple. Although the discussions were not loud, Duan Lingtian and Qi Tianming still heard them. However, Qi Tianming did not seem to mind. On the other hand, Duan Lingtian felt these people were overthinking things. Of course, he also knew that the reason these people said this was entirely because of his age. Why would a person who was not even 100 years old enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm if not for sightseeing? Inscribe your name on it first. After I've confirmed it matches the name on your accumulative point jade, drip a drop of blood on it to claim ownership. At this moment, the elder behind the counter handed Duan Lingtian an accumulative point jade. As soon as Duan Lingtian received the accumulative point jade, he could tell it was extraordinary. Chapter 31-25. Duan Lingtian knew this was the case. The energy fluctuation he sensed from the accumulative point jade token was the energy fluctuation of the formation contained in it. Following the instructions of the profound Nether Mansion's elder, Duan Lingtian engraved his name on the accumulative point jade before handing it over to the elder. After the elder confirmed that there was nothing on the accumulative point jade, the accumulative point jade returned to him. Drip. A drop of blood dripped into the accumulative point jade. In just a blink of an eye, the energy fluctuation in the accumulative point jade trembled violently before it gradually calmed down. Duan Lingtian. The profound Nether Mansion's elder who was sitting behind the counter stared at Duan Lingtian intently. Naturally, he remembered Duan Lingtian's name because he wanted to figure out Duan Lingtian's identity. However, no matter how hard he guessed, he could not figure out Duan Lingtian's identity. His surname is Duan? There's no one with the surname Duan in the 10 major clans, right? Is he from the 5 great sects? All right. While the elder behind the counter was still lost in his thoughts, Qi Tianming looked at Duan Lingtian and said, "You can enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm with your accumulative point jade now. However, are you sure you want to enter the middle realm now?" Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded and walked toward the stone platform. The stone platform was where the transporting formation to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm was located. Stand on the platform and send your celestial origin energy into the accumulative point jade in your hand. It'll activate the transporting formation on the accumulative point jade and send you to the middle realm. Once you're in the middle realm, you'll appear in the profound Nether Mansion's base. If you want to return earlier, you'll have to go through the base as well. Qi Tianming's voice transmission rang in Duan Lingtian's ears as he walked toward the stone platform. Duan Lingtian nodded again and flew onto the stone platform. In an instant, he infused his celestial core power into the accumulative point jade in his hand. Then, the accumulative point jade released a white energy that extended to the stone platform under his feet. It turned into liquid and flowed along the lines and patterns on the stone platform. In the next moment, the lines and patterns on the stone platform seemed to come to life, extending an even more dazzling white light that enveloped Duan Lingtian. When the white light enveloped Duan Lingtian, it gradually dissipated like a white fog. After the white fog dispersed, Duan Lingtian also disappeared from everyone's sight. "Lord Patrol Inspector, who was that just now? I didn't expect you to personally bring him here." An elder from the profound Nether Mansion, who was usually acquainted with Qi Tianming, looked at Qi Tianming curiously when Duan Lingtian entered the room. "You'll find out soon enough." Qi Tianming looked at the elder and smiled faintly before he turned around and left the main hall. "This is the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm?" Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he discovered he was in a vast valley. There were rows of simple wooden huts in the valley. Many people were chatting outside the huts and some were sparring with each other. After observing the huts for a while, Duan Lingtian discovered they were all celestial cores. All of them were 10 Directions Celestial Dukes. They're all from the profound Nether Mansion. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. It was not difficult to see. All of the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes had an identity token of the profound Nether Mansion hanging on their waists. However, unlike Duan Lingtian who was an outer court disciple, all of them had an identity token of an inner court disciple. "Someone's here?" When Duan Lingtian appeared in the valley, he attracted a lot of attention. "Who's that? I don't think I've seen him before." "I haven't seen him before as well." I recognize most of the stronger 10 Directions Celestial Dukes in the profound Nether Mansion, but I don't recognize him. It's normal that you don't recognize him. Look at the identity token hanging on his waist. It's only an Outer Court disciple's identity token. How strong can an Outer Court disciple be? Moreover, didn't you notice he's not even 100 years old? Not even 100 years old. In the beginning, only a few people paid attention to Duan Lingtian. However, as the few of them discussed, more people's attention was focused on Duan Lingtian. At the same time, they also joined in the discussion. After a while, the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes who were sparring with each other stopped talking and shifted their attention to Duan Lingtian. In the profound Nether Mansion, it was not difficult for 10 Directions Celestial Dukes to become Inner Court disciples. For this reason, most 10 Directions Celestial Dukes who dared to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were Inner Court disciples. Very few Outer Court disciples dared to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. After all, they might not be able to crush their accumulative point jades in time to escape from the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. If they failed to escape in time, they might perish in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Why did an Outer Court disciple come here? Isn't he afraid of death? Many 10 Directions Celestial Dukes frowned. This valley was the profound Nether Mansion's base in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Therefore, all the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes here were Inner Court disciples of the profound Nether Mansion. Boy, this isn't a place for Outer Court disciples like you. A young man from the profound Nether Mansion stepped forward with a frown on his face as he asked Duan Lingtian. That's right. You should leave now. Otherwise, you won't even have a chance to crush your accumulative point jades when you encounter 10 Directions Celestial Dukes from other celestial mansions. Another middle-aged man tried to persuade Duan Lingtian. Earlier, when Duan Lingtian overheard the discussion among the profound Nether Mansion's Inner Court disciples, he knew they were looking down on him. They looked down on him because of the Outer Palace disciple identity token hanging on his waist. However, he did not care about it at all. If he did, he would have lived for so many years in vain. Thank you for the reminder. However, since I'm here, I have no intention of leaving. Duan Lingtian said. This valley was the profound Nether Mansion's base in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Naturally, there was a transporting formation in the valley that would send one back to the profound Nether Mansion. The stone platform was located at the center of the valley, right next to where Duan Lingtian was standing. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he looked out of the valley. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared 100 meters away. With just a blink of an eye, he appeared 100 meters away again. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. With just a few flashes, Duan Lingtian disappeared from the sight of the profound Nether Mansion's Inner Court disciples. The profound Nether Mansion's Inner Court disciples were stunned when they saw Duan Lingtian's technique. This was because Duan Lingtian's technique was rather strange. They could not see Duan Lingtian moving at all. That seems to be the law of space's teleportation profundity. The law of space? There aren't many Outer Court disciples who have comprehended the law of space, right? If he really has comprehended the law of space, it's impossible for him to be a nobody even though he's just an Outer Court disciple. There are a few Outer Court disciples who have comprehended the law of space, but none of them have comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity. Perhaps, one of them has comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity recently. Impossible. Put aside the fact that the law of space is one of the 4 supreme laws, it's not easy to comprehend its profundities. Even the Outer Court disciple who has comprehended the most profundities from the law of space has only comprehended 2 profundities from the law of space. Even if he has comprehended the teleportation profundity, it's impossible for him to have the guts to come here. That's right. I've seen the Outer Court disciple who has comprehended 2 profundities from the law of space before. He's not that person. Moreover, that Outer Court disciple is only an 8 trigram Celestial Duke. Let alone an 8 trigram Celestial Duke, even a 9 Palaces Celestial Duke or a 10 Directions Celestial Duke wouldn't dare to come here if they had only comprehended 3 profundities from the law of space. Apart from being shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength, many of the profound Nether Mansion's Inner Court disciples were curious about his identity. I'll go out and ask around. One of the Inner Court disciples stepped onto the stone platform in the middle of the valley and activated the transportation formation to leave. After a while, he returned to the profound Nether Mansion and looked at the group of Inner Court disciples who were looking at him curiously with a strange expression on his face. I went out and asked around. They said that person was personally brought here by Inspector Qi Tianming. He must be a young master with an extraordinary background. Upon hearing his words, realization dawned on the group of inner court disciples. A young master? No wonder he dares to come here when he's not even 100 years old. Not even 100 years old? I almost forgot. He used the teleportation profundity so I can't see his celestial origin energy. I'm pretty sure he's not even a 10 directions celestial duke. A 10 directions celestial duke who's not even 100 years old? Are you kidding me? How dare he come here when he's not even 100 years old? Where does he get his confidence from? It'll be a joke if he dies here. The group of inner court disciples shook their heads. They felt the purple-clad young man who was not even 100 years old had a death wish by coming here. I think we should follow him and have a look. If his background is extraordinary, we might be able to earn a favor by saving his life. Since Inspector Qi Tianming personally brought him here, he's definitely not an ordinary person. An old man rose into the air and chased after Duan Lingtian. In the next moment, a few people followed suit and rose into the air as well. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of this. After Duan Lingtian left the valley, he teleported all the way to a stone forest. After passing through the stone forest, he arrived at a barren plain. He could vaguely see traces of black liquid on the plain. With Duan Lingtian's eyesight, it was not difficult for him to see the traces of dried blood. Chapter 31:26. Well, it's normal. There's nothing to hide here. It's impossible to hide here. If people from different celestial mansions encounter each other here, there's bound to be a fight. Duan Lingtian was not surprised to see bloodstains on the ground. After all, this place was destined to be a bloodbath. In the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, the only way to increase one's accumulative point jade was to snatch points from the disciples of other celestial mansions. However, disciples from the same celestial mansion were not allowed to snatch points from each other. For example, Duan Lingtian. At this moment, even if all the disciples from the profound nether mansion were to crush their accumulative point jades to give him points, his accumulative point jade would not increase. This was to prevent disciples from the same celestial mansion from ganging up on each other to accumulate points and make it to the top 20. Naturally, disciples from different celestial mansions could trade their points secretly, but not many people would do so. Firstly, it was too risky. If they were discovered, they would be executed. Secondly, after taking such a huge risk and paying such a huge price, he might not be able to get what he wanted in the end. He might not be able to obtain his ideal ranking. However, as the saying went, fortune comes with risk. Although not many people would do such a thing, there were still some people who would do it secretly. Of course, this kind of situation only existed once in a while. No one would do such a thing every time. Firstly, it was unnecessary. Secondly, it was too risky. There's a forest in front of me. After a while, Duan Lingtian saw a forest in front of him. The terrain in the forest was steep, making it easy to hide. Most people who entered the southern heaven ancient realm were 10 directions celestial dukes. It was not difficult for them to avoid detection from each other's divine consciousness. Earlier, I passed through a stone forest before entering a barren plain. Now there's a forest in front of me. It feels like the terrain in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm isn't big at all. It's as though it's tailor-made for people to fight in the middle realm. As long as one made good use of the terrain, it would be helpful to a certain extent. Just as Duan Lingtian was about to head into the forest ahead, he seemed to have discovered something. His gaze suddenly froze and his body froze. The next moment, whoosh, a figure flew out from behind one of the mountain peaks in the forest in front of him. By the time he regained his senses, the figure was already behind him, staring at him like a tiger eyeing its prey. That is, when the figure flew over, Duan Lingtian not only noticed that he was a young man, he also saw the identity token on his waist that was constantly spinning. It's someone from the Wuxia residence. In addition, Duan Lingtian also saw the words Wuxia residence engraved on the other party's identity token. Hongji. Obviously, the person who flew behind him and blocked his path of retreat was called Hongji, and he was a disciple of the Wuxia estate. Moreover, he was an inner court disciple of the Wuxia estate. After Hongji appeared behind Duan Lingtian and blocked his path of retreat, he shifted his gaze to the identity token that was spinning on Duan Lingtian's waist. His solemn expression changed immediately. An outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? Then he looked at the forest in the distance and said loudly, "Come out." He's just an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. Whoosh. As soon as Hongji finished speaking, Duan Lingtian discovered another figure had appeared behind the mountain that Hongji had come out from. Similar to Hong Ji, this person had the appearance of a young man. Based on his identity token, he was also an inner court disciple of the Wuxia estate. His name was Tong Qishan. An outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? After Tong Qishan appeared, he and Hong Ji surrounded Duan Lingtian. Tong Qishan frowned slightly when he saw Duan Lingtian. Boy, why are you here when you're just an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? Hong Ji asked in a deep voice. Since I'm here, it's only natural that I'm here to compete for a spot on the scoreboard. Duan Lingtian replied indifferently. You're just an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion, but you're here to compete for a spot on the scoreboard? Tong Qishan's eyes widened in shock as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Can you tell me how many points you've accumulated so far? Usually, Tong Qishan and Hong Ji would attack as soon as they saw their prey, not giving them a chance to escape. However, their prey today was just an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. Therefore, they were not worried Duan Lingtian would be able to escape under their noses. Tong Qishan and Hong Ji did not mind Duan Lingtian crushing his accumulative point jade to leave the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, since they were not bloodthirsty people. Since Duan Lingtian did not have any enmity with them and was willing to leave with his points, they would not kill him. This is my first time in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. You're the first and second people from other celestial mansions I've encountered. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. The profound nether mansion's base is nearby. Did you just come out from the profound nether mansion's base? Tong Qishan was speechless. Duan Lingtian was a reckless person. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. I didn't expect to encounter a rookie. Boy, crush your accumulative point jade and leave. You're lucky you encountered us. If it were someone else, they might not have let you leave alive, Hong Ji said as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Based on his words, he wanted Duan Lingtian to crush his accumulative point jade and hand over his points so that the transporting formation in his accumulative point jade would send him out of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. I just realized, not only are you an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion, but you're not even 100 years old. At this moment, Tong Qishan's divine consciousness discovered Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. Not even 100 years old? Hong Ji was speechless. Boy, you really have a death wish. How dare you enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm when you're not even 100 years old? Although not everyone from the grade 6 celestial mansions are murderers, if you encounter someone from a grade 6 celestial mansion who's not on good terms with the profound nether mansion, they won't let you leave alive. Crush your accumulative point jade and leave. What? Do you want us to make a move on you? Tong Qishan waved his hand helplessly at Duan Lingtian. When he saw Duan Lingtian did not respond, he began to feel a little impatient. His voice was low as well. At this moment, Duan Lingtian smiled. Tong Qishan and Hong Ji were stunned when they saw the smile on Duan Lingtian's face. What are you smiling about? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, both of you seem like decent people. In that case, I won't make a move on you. Both of you crush your accumulative point jades and leave. Earlier, when Duan Lingtian passed by the transporting formation in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, he had noticed the light screen in the middle of the courtyard. The light screen displayed the scoreboard of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Naturally, only the top 100 were displayed on the light screen. Even so, Duan Lingtian managed to memorize the names on the light screen and the names of the grade 6 celestial mansions they belonged to. Hong Ji, Tong Qishan, he did not see any of their names on the light screen. In other words, both of them were not ranked in the top 100 of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Therefore, even if both of them joined forces, they would not pose a threat to him. Naturally, it was not impossible for both of them to be ranked in the top 100 of the southern heaven ancient realm, since they had just entered the middle realm and had not accumulated many points yet. However, even then, Duan Lingtian still did not think the two of them were very strong. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian was not weak at all. In the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, 10 directions celestial dukes who were slightly stronger would not join forces with others, since it would reflect poorly on them. He's not going to attack us? He wants us to crush our accumulative point jades. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Hong Ji and Tong Qishan were stunned. When they regained their senses, they looked at each other as though they had just seen a ghost. This brat, could it be that he has lost his mind? It's crazy for an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion who's not even 100 years old to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Perhaps he's really out of his mind. Based on his current state, it's impossible for him to crush his accumulative point jades. It seems like we have no choice but to force him to crush his accumulative point jades. Alright, let's do that. I hope that after he's eliminated by us this time, he'll come to his senses and stop sending himself to death. After Hong Ji and Tong Qishan exchanged a few words through voice transmission, Tong Qishan remained motionless while Hong Ji made his move. In their opinion, any one of them would be able to defeat this profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple who was not even 100 years old. Bus, 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 bus. Hong Ji had comprehended the law of metal. As soon as he made his move, he used 3 profundities from the law of metal. Dazzling golden saber rays shot out and intertwined to form a saber net that shot toward Duanling Tian. However, Duanling Tian remained motionless in the face of Hong Ji's attack. In just a blink of an eye, Hong Ji's attack was only a foot away from Duanling Tian. Show mercy. Tong Qishan cried out in a low voice when he saw this. He was afraid Hong Ji would kill this profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple who was not even 100 years old. Although the profound Nether Mansion would not pursue the matter if Hong Ji killed Duanling Tian was still a young man. Moreover, it was obvious Hong Ji was a hothead. Therefore he did not have the heart to kill Hong Ji. He's so weak? Hong Ji smiled wryly when he heard Tong Qishan's words. He was about to withdraw his attack. Just as the golden saber rays began to fade, Hong Ji's eyes widened as though he had seen something terrifying. It was also because of this momentary shock that he did not have time to withdraw his attack. Bus, bus, bus. Chapter 31:27. The purple figure in the sky had already disappeared like a ghost the moment before the devastating blade light enveloped him. For this reason, the sharp saber ray missed its target and did not injure it. What technique is this? Hong Ji was shocked when he saw Duanling Tian vanishing into thin air. He even forgot to stop his attack. There he is. Following Tong Qishan's voice, Hong Ji followed Tong Qishan's gaze and saw the purple figure standing in the void 100 meters behind him. He did not know when the purple figure had appeared behind him. Moreover, the entire process was so quiet that he did not notice it at all. It was as though the purple figure had vanished into thin air and reappeared there out of thin air. Did you see how he appeared there? Hong Ji gulped before he asked Tong Qishan. No. Tong Qishan shook his head before he said in a deep voice, if I'm not mistaken, the technique he used earlier was the teleportation profundity from the law of space. The teleportation profundity does not rely on celestial origin energy. As long as one comprehends it, one will be able to teleport 100 meters away. Naturally, the higher one's cultivation base is, the shorter the interval between using the teleportation profundity. Moreover, one can use it more often. The teleportation profundity does not rely on celestial origin energy. However, the interval between using it and its duration is dependent on one's celestial origin energy. Based on Tong Qishan's words, it was clear he had a certain understanding of the teleportation profundity. The teleportation profundity? Hong Ji was enlightened when he heard Tong Qishan's words. No wonder he can appear and disappear so mysteriously. As it turns out, it's the teleportation profundity from the law of space. However, isn't the teleportation profundity the most difficult profundity to comprehend from the law of space? He's not even 100 years old, but he managed to comprehend it? Hong Ji's eyes were filled with shock when he looked at the purple figure in the distance again after he finished conversing with Tong Qishan through voice transmission. He must be lucky. After comprehending the space elemental profundity, he managed to comprehend the teleportation profundity first. Tong Qishan said, however, even if that's the case, as long as his cultivation is not weaker than yours or mine, it would be impossible for us to catch up to him. However, since he's not even 100 years old, it's impossible for his cultivation base to catch up to ours. As long as his celestial origin energy is weaker than ours, it won't be difficult for us to catch up to him even if his teleportation profundity is elusive. Tong Qishan's eyes flashed as he spoke, his tone filled with confidence towards himself and Hong Ji's cultivation base. Hong Ji nodded before he looked at the purple figure in the distance. Lad from the profound Nether Mansion, I didn't expect you to comprehend the law of space's teleportation profundity before you're even 100 years old. However, if you think you can escape from us just because you've comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity, then you're really too naive. Hong Ji's tone was full of pride. Escape. In the distance, Duanling Tian, who had dodged Hong Ji's attack with a teleport, was startled when he heard Hong Ji's words. Then he couldn't help but laugh. When did I say that I was going to escape? The smile on Duan Lingtian's face grew wider and wider. Feel free to use all your techniques. Since you don't intend to kill me, I'll show you mercy. Duan Lingtian's smile did not change at all when he said this. Show us mercy? Hong Ji and Tong Qishan were infuriated when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. Not only did an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion refuse to kill them, but he even dared to say he would show them mercy? Could he be living in a dream? Lad, it seems like there's always someone better than you if I don't teach you a lesson. In that case, I'll show you the difference between an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion and an inner court disciple of the Wuxia Mansion. Hong Ji said coldly as he looked at Duan Lingtian coldly after he took a deep breath and forcefully suppressed the anger in his heart. As soon as he finished speaking, the golden light on his body surged. It was as if he had turned into a golden man made of pure gold in an instant. The golden man's body was faintly surrounded by golden lightning, emitting a cold and sharp aura from head to toe. The metal body profundity? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. It was not difficult to tell Hong Ji had cast the law of metal's metal body profundity. The metal body profundity allowed one's body to be shrouded in a layer of metal elemental energy. It increased one's strength, speed, and other attributes. After casting the profundity of the metal body art, even if he did not use his celestial origin energy, his physical strength would still be enhanced by the metal element. Lad, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders today. I'll show you that you're not qualified to be as arrogant as you are now. Hong Ji's figure flickered, and his whole person seemed to have turned into a golden light, sweeping through the air like a golden meteor streaking across the sky. Swoosh! The golden light swept through the air as if it was not affected by any air resistance. It was as if it could completely ignore the air. The piercing profundity. Duan Lingtian could tell that although Hong Ji's movement did not seem to be affected by the air resistance, it was still affected by the air resistance. However, it was so small that it was difficult to detect it. This was because Hong Ji had cast the law of metal's piercing profundity at the same time as he moved. The piercing profundity had the ability to penetrate through the air. It could easily pierce through the air and would not be affected by the air resistance at all. Hong Ji has cast 5 profundities from the law of metal so far. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself. Before I teleported, his attacks contained the law of metal's metal elemental profundity, the radiant slash profundity, and the slicing profundity. Now that he's charging at me, he's casting the law of metal's metal body profundity and the piercing profundity. With Duan Lingtian's current strength, it was not difficult for him to see that Hong Ji had cast 5 profundities from the law of metal so far. Duan Lingtian was almost certain after Hong Ji cast his technique when he got close to him. Hong Ji had only comprehended 5 profundities from the law of metal. No wonder he joined forces with someone else. As it turns out, he has only comprehended 5 profundities from the law of metal. Duan Lingtian shook his head and used the teleportation profundity to dodge the attack. At the same time, he no longer stood there in a daze like before. He narrowed his eyes and disappeared from his spot again. In the distance, Tong Qishan, who had been observing Duan Lingtian from the beginning until now, was shocked. He's also a 10-direction celestial duke. This time, Duan Lingtian used the teleportation profundity twice in a row. The interval between each time was very short. Based on this, Tong Qishan was certain. Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy was at least at the level of a 10-direction celestial duke. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to cast the teleportation profundity twice in such a short time. A 10-direction celestial duke who's not even 100 years old? Tong Qishan's scalp tingled when he thought about Duan Lingtian's age. Because he knew that something like age couldn't be deceived. Only a person who was not even 100 years old would have the aura of a person who was not even 100 years old. Even a celestial emperor or a legendary divine being would not be able to fake this. Territory profundity. Duan Lingtian teleported again and appeared behind Hong Ji in just a blink of an eye. At the same time, a territory energy that covered a 10-meter radius spread out from his body at lightning speed. Raging space strength slammed into Hong Ji's body, which seemed to be cast from pure gold, leaving behind numerous scars. In the blink of an eye, his body was riddled with holes. Confinement profundity. Distortion profundity. Before Hong Ji could react, Duan Lingtian cast the other 2 profundities from the law of space again. Suddenly the void around Hong Ji paused. The space was completely confined, making him feel powerless. At the same time, the pure gold body that enveloped Hong Ji's body trembled with the sudden appearance of the twisting force in the void, and was shattered into pieces in an instant. Although Hong Ji was shocked by Duan Lingtian's endless tricks, he did not have the time to be shocked by the current situation. Break! Hong Ji roared. Golden light burst out from his body as streaks of golden saber rays appeared one after another. With a tearing and penetrating force, he wanted to break Duan Lingtian's spatial confinement. You want to break my confinement profundity? Hong Ji's all-out attack made Duan Lingtian feel threatened. If Hong Ji was allowed to attack, his confinement profundity might not be able to trap Hong Ji. At this critical moment, Duan Lingtian's eyes narrowed as he waved his right hand. The next moment, rip. In the space that Duan Lingtian had imprisoned, a void suddenly split open and a terrifying space crack appeared. At the same time, buzz. A gray saber light shot out from behind the spatial rift. It was like a saber light that came from a different space. It met Hong Ji's golden saber light head-on. Buzz. Buzz, 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 buzz. The gray saber ray and the golden saber ray raged. The former was quickly overwhelmed by the latter because there were too many of them. However, after a short moment, the golden saber light trembled again, and a gray light was revealed from within. Finally, the gray saber ray appeared again. At the same time, a space crack appeared from the tip of the saber and connected with the space crack that released it. In the blink of an eye, the space crack became longer and narrower. Then, with a tremor, it opened its mouth and swallowed the raging golden saber ray. When the space crack disappeared, the golden saber ray was completely annihilated as if it had been taken away by the space crack. That's not far away. Tong Qishan was stunned. The territory profundity of the law of space? Confinement profundity? Distortion profundity? Chapter 31-28. Duan Lingtian scoffed. Just as Hong Ji's attack was about to be countered by his cross-dimensional profundity, the distortion profundity began to vibrate. In the next moment, Hong Ji was sent flying by the distortion profundity. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and his face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Naturally, Hong Ji was only able to escape Duan Lingtian's restraining profundity because Duan Lingtian had removed the restraining profundity. Unlike Hong Ji, who was sent flying, Duan Lingtian hovered in the air. His entire body was in good condition, and he did not look like he had just fought a fierce battle. Hong Ji, are you all right? Tong Qishan asked with a worried expression as he flew out and caught Hong Ji, who was flying backwards. Since he was able to join forces with Hong Ji in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, it was only natural that he was close to Hong Ji. Therefore he was worried when he saw Hong Ji was severely injured. However, he didn't think about avenging Hong Ji because his strength was weaker than Hong Ji's. Although he had comprehended 5 profundities from the law of Earth, if he were to fight Hong Ji, the most he could do was rely on the law of Earth's defense to fight Hong Ji to a draw. In terms of offense, he was far inferior to Hong Ji. Hong Ji had comprehended 5 profundities from the law of metal that were better than the other profundities from the law of metal. This was especially true for the ripping profundity and the piercing profundity. They were the main offensive profundities from the law of metal. If Hong Ji was facing an ordinary person who had comprehended 5 profundities from a law, he would be able to easily defeat his opponent. Unfortunately, his opponent was Duan Lingtian. Even if Duan Lingtian only used 5 profundities from the law of space, it would not be difficult for him to defeat Hong Ji. It would just take him some time. Duan Lingtian, who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space, could defeat Hong Ji in just a blink of an eye. After witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength, Tong Qishan knew he would be defeated even if he focused on defending against Duan Lingtian. It was because Duan Lingtian had comprehended 6 profundities of the law of space. The law of space was one of the 4 supreme laws of heaven and earth. It was much more powerful than ordinary laws. Even if Duan Lingtian had only comprehended 5 of them, he and Hong Ji would only be able to fight Duan Lingtian to a draw if they joined forces. If Duan Lingtian chose to attack them one by one, even if he and Hong Ji joined forces, the possibility of defeat was more than 90%. Duan Lingtian had comprehended Blink Upanishad, which allowed him to come and go without leaving a trace. It wasn't hard to kill them one by one. Cough. I'm fine. He was too strong. I couldn't fight back at all. Hong Ji, who was caught by Tong Qishan, had a helpless expression on his pale face. At the same time, there was a hint of lingering fear in his eyes. Fortunately, we don't have the habit of killing indiscriminately. If we wanted to kill him today, he would definitely kill us. He held back earlier. Otherwise, I would have died without a doubt. Thinking of the scene just now, Hong Ji's face suddenly became paler, and fear appeared in the depths of his eyes. Let's leave. Hong Ji took out his accumulative points jade pendant. He glanced at it reluctantly, and then directly crushed it with his hand. After he crushed the accumulative point jade, a white energy surged out of it and shrouded Hongji. A gust of wind blew away the white energy that shrouded Hongji. However, Hongji was nowhere to be seen. Crack. After Hongji left, Tong Qishan took out his accumulative point jade and crushed it before he left the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Both Hongji and Tong Qishan made a mental note of a name before they left the middle realm. Duan Lingtian. Based on the identity token hanging on Duan Lingtian's waist, they learned of Duan Lingtian's name. After Hongji and Tong Qishan left, Duan Lingtian gained 5 points in his accumulative point jade. Including the 1 point he now had 6 points in his accumulative point jade. The original point in his accumulative point jade was 1 point. Since Hongji had 3 points in his accumulative point jade, it meant he had obtained 1 point from someone else. On the other hand, Tong Qishan had 2 points in his accumulative point jade, it meant he had obtained 1 point from someone else. Now that Duan Lingtian had obtained all of their points, the number of points in his accumulative point jade skyrocketed. It went from 1 point to 6 points. I remember. The 100th person on the scoreboard only has 4 points, right? Before entering the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, Duan Lingtian had seen the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The person who was ranked 100th only had 4 points. The 89th, 90th and 92nd place have 6 points. The 93rd place only has 5 points. If the rankings and points on this part of the leaderboard hadn't changed before this, I should be able to rank 93rd now. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. However, the 93rd place on the scoreboard was not Duan Lingtian's ultimate goal. Therefore, after he put his accumulative point jade away, he continued to make his way to the forest. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared 100 meters away. In just a blink of an eye, he disappeared and reappeared 200 meters away. With a few flashes, Duan Lingtian's figure that was like a ghost had already completely disappeared in the mountain forest with a complicated terrain. Meanwhile, the transporting sites on the profound Nether Mansion's 3 main islands that led to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were bustling with activity. This was because a new name had appeared on the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Naturally, if it was just a new name, it would not have attracted much attention since it was ranked at the bottom. The reason this new name caused such an uproar was due to the 3 words Profound Nether Mansion at the end of the name. This meant the new name was Duan Lingtian. After all, the person who had just entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm was a disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion. Duan Lingtian? Who's he? Since when did the Profound Nether Mansion have such a person? It's impossible for someone who's capable of making it into the top 100 in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm to be a nobody in the Profound Nether Mansion. Apart from that, we're familiar with the names of those 10 Directions Celestial Dukes who aren't in the top 100, but are rather strong. However, this person isn't among them. Does anyone know him? The disciples of the Profound Nether Mansion were, naturally, happy that another disciple from the Profound Nether Mansion had appeared in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Although the Profound Nether Mansion's disciples who were ranked below the top 20 would not benefit the Profound Nether Mansion, it was still a sign of strength to be ranked in the top 100. The middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm was no longer just a tool for Grade 6 Celestial Mansions to compete for benefits. It had become a symbol of glory for Grade 6 Celestial Mansions. It was a great honor for a disciple from a Grade 6 Immortal Mansion to be ranked near the top of the scoreboard and occupy the most spots on the scoreboard. For this reason, the appearance of another disciple from the Profound Nether Mansion on the scoreboard attracted the attention of many disciples who were paying close attention to the scoreboard. However, to them it was a pity. After all, the name, Duan Lingtian, was unfamiliar to them. Duan Lingtian? An elder of the Profound Nether Mansion sitting behind a counter on one of the main islands of the Profound Nether Mansion frowned when he heard the name, Duan Lingtian. As soon as he heard the name, he found it familiar. His eyes lit up as realization dawned on him. Duan Lingtian. Isn't he the young man who was brought here by Inspector Qi? He still remembered he was the one who helped Qi Tianming, the inspector of the Profound Nether Mansion, complete the formalities for the young man. The name, Duan Lingtian, was engraved on the young man's identity token and accumulative point jade. Duan Lingtian. Don't tell me it's a homonym? When the elder recalled the young man who was brought here by Inspector Qi was not even 100 years old, he began to feel uncertain. Could it be another disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion with the names Duan Lingtian, Duan Lingtian, or Duan Lingtian? Check it out. as an elder of the profound Nether Mansion who was stationed at the transporting point in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he had the authority to check the information of the profound Nether Mansion's disciples who had entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm this month. After checking the information, the elder was shocked to find that there was only one person who had entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Among the profound Nether Mansion's disciples who had entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, only Duan Ling Tian had the same name. He was none other than Inspector Qi. In other words, the profound Nether Mansion's disciple who's ranked in the top 100 is the young man Inspector Qi brought here? He entered the middle realm less than 2 hours ago, right? He obtained 6 points and entered the top 100 in such a short time? The elder from the profound Nether Mansion was stunned. The profound Nether Mansion's elder took a deep breath before he told another profound Nether Mansion's elder who was standing nearby. A commotion broke out at the entrance of the transporting formation again. There's news. Duan Ling Tian is the young man who was brought in by Inspector Qi. The young man who was brought in by Inspector Qi? He just entered the middle realm an hour ago, right? Moreover, he's not even 100 years old, right? He's not even 100 years old, and he entered the middle realm less than 2 hours ago, but he obtained 6 points and entered the top 100? How's this possible? It's impossible. Let alone the profound Nether Mansion, even in the history of the Southern Heaven Territory, has there ever been a 10 Directions Celestial Duke younger than 100 years old? Moreover, even if he's a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, his comprehension of the profundities of Allah shouldn't be weak. How's it possible for someone younger than 100 years old to obtain so many points in such a short time? I don't think it's possible as well. If Duan Ling Tian is really him, he must have bribed the people from the other celestial mansions to give him their points. He must have cheated. Chapter 31-29. The elders and disciples of the profound Nether Mansion discussed among themselves and came to a consensus. The profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple, Duan Ling Tian, must have cheated in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Otherwise, how could a young man like him rank in the top 100 of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Is it possible that Lord Inspector Qi found him to cheat? However, it's meaningless for the profound Nether Mansion to cheat if he doesn't make it into the top 20, right? Someone speculated. There are only a few days left until the rankings are updated. Even if he cheated, it's impossible for him to make it into the top 20 now, right? That's not necessarily the case. What if people from other celestial mansions enter at the same time? With enough people giving him points, it's not impossible for him to make it into the top 20. That's possible. It seems like Lord Inspector Qi really found him to cheat so that the profound Nether Mansion can enter the top 20. When did the profound Nether Mansion end up in such a predicament? Even the top 20 of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm needs someone to cheat in order to make it into the top 20. Many of the elders and disciples of the profound Nether Mansion speculated that Duan Ling Tian was found by the profound Nether Mansion's Inspector Qi Tianming to cheat in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. How did the profound Nether Mansion end up in such a predicament? Did they have to cheat in order to make it into the top 20 in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Naturally, there were some who disagreed. I don't think it's necessary to find a young man who's not even 100 years old to cheat, right? Senior brother Zhou Hongjie could have just found someone from other celestial mansions to give him some points and he'll be able to make it into the top 20. Isn't it more expensive to find a young man who's not even 100 years old? Now that you mention it, I have a headache. If the profound Nether Mansion really wants to cheat, senior brother Zhou Hongjie would be our first choice. However, if he didn't cheat, how did that young man manage to make it into the top 100 in such a short time? Maybe he just happened to see two evenly matched people fighting, and both of them were injured at the same time, and only had one breath left. It's not impossible for something like this to happen. Maybe he's really that lucky. Whether it's luck or not, we'll know once we see if there are any changes in his points. If he really cheated, his points would definitely increase. And if he's just lucky and picked up a big bargain, his points will definitely not continue to increase. If I were him, I would have rushed out as soon as I could after picking up such a huge bargain. How powerful can a person who isn't even 100 years old possibly be? Inside, anyone you meet will have the ability to easily kill you. If the profound Nether Mansion wanted to cheat, they could have asked Zhou Hongjie, the strongest 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the profound Nether Mansion, to do so. Although Zhou Hongjie had not ranked in the top 20 of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm scoreboard for almost a year now, he was still ranked in the top 20. He only needed a few more points to enter the top 20. As this group of people discussed, more and more people felt that Duan Tian was only able to rank in the top 100 due to luck. Naturally, there were also some people who looked at Duan Tian's name on the scoreboard expectantly. They wanted to see if there was any chance for him to rank up the scoreboard. Duan Tian had only been in the middle realm for less than 2 hours, but he had already accumulated 6 points. In the history of the profound Nether Mansion, no one had ever been so lucky to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The Wuxia Mansion was a grade 6 celestial mansion. Its status in the Southern Heaven territory was equivalent to the profound Nether Mansion. There were 2 transporting formations in the Wuxia Mansion that led to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. At this moment, a wretched figure appeared out of thin air at one of the transporting formations. Following that, another figure appeared next to the wretched figure. Hongji? Tongqi Shan? As soon as the duo appeared, they attracted the attention of many elders and disciples in the Wuxia Mansion. Many disciples recognized the duo. Hongji Tongqi Shan, based on your appearances, you were teleported out by crushing your accumulative point jades? A middle-aged disciple from the Wuxia Mansion asked in surprise when he saw the duo. Yes. Tongqi Shan reached out to support Hongji as he nodded. This time we're completely convinced of our loss. With the 2 of you joining forces, even those at the bottom of the scoreboard might not be a match for the 2 of you. The person who defeated the 2 of you is definitely not a nobody. Who's the person who eliminated the 2 of you? Another disciple from the Wuxia Mansion who looked like an old man asked. That person is really a nobody, Tongqi Shan said with a wry smile. Tongqi Shan smiled wryly when he was faced with everyone's questioning gaze. His name is Duan Tian. After obtaining both of our points, he's definitely ranked in the top 100. As Tongqi Shan spoke, he looked at the light screen in the distance and saw the name at the bottom of the scoreboard. Duan Tian. 93rd place. Tongqi Shan's eyes glinted as he thought to himself, although Duan Tian has just entered the middle realm with his strength and luck, he'll definitely be able to rank in the top 50. He had witnessed Duan Tian's strength. For this reason, he knew Duan Tian was strong enough to rank in the top 40 or top 50 in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. However, since Duan Tian had entered the middle realm late, he would have to rely on luck to rank in the top 50. If he was lucky, he would be able to encounter opponents with sufficient points who were weaker than him. Duan Tian? While Tongqi Shan was looking at the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the other elders and disciples from the Wuxia Mansion were also looking at the scoreboard. There he is. 93rd place. Duan Tian? A disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? I've never heard of him before. When did the profound Nether Mansion have such a person? I've heard of all the powerful 10 Directions Celestial Dukes in the profound Nether Mansion, but I've never heard of Duan Tian before. Where did this profound Nether Mansion disciple come from? Since he's capable of defeating Hongji and Tongqi Shan and ranks in the top 100, there's no way he's a nobody. The group of elders and disciples from the profound Nether Mansion looked at each other in confusion. None of them had heard of Duan Tian in the profound Nether Mansion before. Soon after, many people shifted their attention to Tongqi Shan and Hongji. Tongqi Shan, since he defeated you and Hongji, he must have comprehended at least 6 profundities from a law, right? An elder from the Wuxia Mansion asked as he looked at Tongqi Shan. Yes. Tongqi Shan nodded. Then he said solemnly, not only has he comprehended 6 profundities from a law, but he has also comprehended the law of space. The law of space. As Tongqi Shan's voice fell, the scene fell into a dead silence. Comprehending 6 profundities of the law of space? As one of the 4 supreme laws, the laws of space were extremely difficult to comprehend. In the entire Wuxia Mansion, there was only one person who had comprehended more than 6 profundities from the law of space. Moreover, that person was one of the few elders with the highest seniority in the Wuxia Manor. He was a celestial emperor. Apart from that person, there was no one else in the entire Wuxia Mansion who had comprehended more than 6 profundities from the law of space. But now, Tongqi Shan was telling them. Duan Tian from the profound Nether Mansion had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space? Tongqi Shan, are you telling the truth? I've never heard of a 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the profound Nether Mansion who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. A disciple from the Wuxia Manor questioned. I've never heard of a 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the profound Nether Mansion who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space, let alone a 10 Directions Celestial Duke who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. Another elder from the Wuxia Manor voiced his doubts. Swoosh. Just as everyone was looking at Tong Qishan in surprise, Tong Qishan raised his hand and a bead appeared in his hand. A floating image pearl. Everyone's eyes lit up when they saw the pearl in Tong Qishan's hand. After all, it was a floating image pearl. Since Tong Qishan had taken out the floating image pearl at this moment, it meant he had recorded the battle between them and the profound Nether Mansion's disciple, Duan Lingtian. As Tong Qishan's celestial origin energy surged into the floating image pearl, a constantly changing light screen appeared before the elders and disciples of the Wuxia mansion. Two figures appeared on the light screen. One of them was Hongji, an inner court disciple of the Wuxia mansion. He was a 10 Directions celestial duke who had comprehended 5 profundities from the law of metal. As for the other person, he was a purple-clad young man who was unfamiliar to them. Naturally, it was not difficult for the elders and disciples of the Wuxia mansion to figure out who the purple-clad young man was. Without a doubt, the purple-clad young man was Duan Lingtian from the profound Nether Mansion. Hongji is making his move. Under the watchful eyes of the others, Hongji was the first to make his move. He transformed into a golden man as he charged toward the purple-clad young man. In the light screen, the golden saber rays intertwined to form a net that seemed capable of destroying everything in its path. However, at this critical moment, the purple-clad young man suddenly vanished from his spot like a ghost. When he reappeared, he was already 100 meters away from Hongji. This is the law of space's teleportation profundity? One of the elders from the Wuxia mansion exclaimed in shock. The law of space's teleportation profundity? Everyone at the scene was shocked. The law of space's teleportation profundity was one of the most difficult profundities to comprehend. Once one comprehended it, one would be able to use the teleportation profundity. Look at his identity medallion. A sharp-eyed disciple from the Wuxia mansion narrowed his eyes when he saw the identity token spinning around the purple-clad young man's waist. Chapter 3130. An outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? As the sharp-eyed disciple from the Wuxia manor spoke, the attention of the group of elders and disciples from the Wuxia manor was focused on the identity token hanging on the waist of the purple-clothed young man in the mirror image. In just a blink of an eye, they recognized the identity token of an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion. This was because the outer court disciple tokens of the various grade 6 celestial mansions were mostly the same. Therefore, the group of people recognized it with a single glance. Duan Lingtian is an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? Everyone was confused. At this moment, they saw Duan Lingtian's figure flashing in front of them. In the mirror image, after Duan Lingtian dodged Hongji's preemptive attack by teleporting, he teleported to Hongji's side and attacked him. In just a few moments, Hongji's attack was annihilated without Duan Lingtian making any big move. It was taken away by the spatial rift, and Hongji was sent flying with heavy injuries. Gasp, 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 gasp. Seeing how Hongji was defeated so easily, the group of Wuxia Manor's elders and disciples widened their eyes in shock. At the same time, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Since when did the outer court disciples of the profound Nether Mansion become so strong? The territory profundity, the restraining profundity, the distortion profundity, and the cross-sectional / profundity. Coupled with the teleportation profundity and the space elemental profundity, this outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. A knowledgeable elder from the Wuxia mansion exclaimed. I didn't expect there to be such a person in the profound Nether Mansion. Then he sighed emotionally. How can such a person be an outer court disciple in the profound Nether Mansion? Are the people in the profound Nether Mansion blind? Another elder from the Wuxia mansion cursed. If such a person was in the Wuxia mansion, he would be an inner court disciple at the very least. In fact, it would not be difficult for him to become a core disciple. After all, those who could enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm were not even 1,000 years old. For someone who was not even 1,000 years old to comprehend 6 profundities from the law of space, it would not be difficult for such a person to become a core disciple in any grade 6 celestial mansion. Why do I have a feeling the profound Nether Mansion is trying to provoke us? How can an outer court disciple from the profound Nether Mansion eliminate our inner court disciples? I also think the profound Nether Mansion is trying to embarrass us. With such strength, how can he be an outer court disciple? The profound Nether Mansion really hit him well. I've never heard of such a person in the profound Nether Mansion. It won't take long for this outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion to spread his name across the major celestial mansions. After the Wuxia mansion's elders and disciples discussed spiritedly, they came to a unanimous conclusion. The profound nether mansion was trying to provoke the grade 6 celestial mansions, including the Wuxia mansion. Based on the strength the purple-clad young man had displayed, it was impossible for him to be an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. It's also possible that the profound nether mansion hired external help. Tong Qishan made a timely guess just as the crowd's discussion quieted down. What do you mean? Everyone turned to look at Tong Qishan. Do you know how old the profound nether mansion's outer court disciple is in the floating image pearl? Tong Qishan asked. I don't know. Everyone shook their heads. It was impossible for them to determine the purple-clad young man's age based on the scryer recording. Even if the purple-clad young man looked young, they would not think he was young. Many old monsters who were tens of thousands of years old could appear as young as 17 or 18 years old if they wanted to. Since he's able to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, it means he's younger than 1,000 years old. A 10 directions celestial duke who's younger than 1,000 years old who has such a high attainment in the law of space is more than enough to be a core disciple of the profound nether mansion. There's no way he's just an outer court disciple. That's right. Not only is he not a core disciple in the profound nether mansion, but he's not even an inner court disciple. The profound nether mansion is trying to embarrass us. In the history of the southern heaven territory, it's rare to see someone younger than 1,000 years old who has comprehended the law of space. I didn't expect the profound nether mansion to be hiding such a person. Apart from Tong Qishan and Hong Ji, all the elders and disciples of the Wuxia mansion present on the scene thought the purple-clad young man had entered the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Younger than 1,000 years old? Hong Ji, who had remained silent all this while, laughed self-deprecatingly when he heard the discussion. The mirror image recorded by the floating image pearl ended when Hong Ji was sent flying. However, since Tong Qishan did not put the floating image pearl away, he did not withdraw the celestial origin energy he had injected into it. Therefore, the mirror image was still playing in a loop. Duan Lingtian isn't just a 10 directions celestial duke. Tong Qishan looked at the purple figure in the mirror image and said in a low voice. Because his tone was not right, it caused the surrounding people to become quiet. Their gazes fell on him in unison. He's not even 100 years old. Everyone's eyes widened in shock when they heard Tong Qishan's words. The surroundings fell silent immediately. At this moment, even if a needle were to fall to the ground, one would be able to hear the crisp sound of it hitting the ground. Tong Qishan, are you mistaken? This profound nether mansion's outer court disciple isn't even 100 years old? One of the Wuxia mansion's disciples was the first to regain his senses. He looked at Tong Qishan in disbelief. I know you won't believe me, but that's the truth. Not only me, even Hong Ji, when facing him, found it not difficult to detect the aura of his fleshly body that was less than 100 years old. Tong Qishan shrugged and said. He didn't think that the group of people in front of him would believe his words. After all, hearing from others and seeing with their own eyes were two completely different concepts. Put yourself in his shoes and think about it. If he was one of them, he would not have believed it if someone told him there was a 10 directions celestial duke who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space before the age of 100 in the profound nether mansion. Let's go. Hong Ji said to Tong Qishan. Then the two of them left under the gazes of the crowd. Just as Tong Qishan had thought, although everyone present was shocked by what he had said, no one believed him. A 10 directions celestial duke who was not even 100 years old? Moreover, he had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space? There had never been such an existence in the history of the southern heaven territory. However, today Tong Qishan told them that he was going to tell them something. Moreover, he was just an outer court disciple in the profound nether mansion. Who would believe that? Why are they acting so mysterious? Do they think we'll believe them? But Tong Qishan and Hong Ji have no reason to lie to us, right? No matter what, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed that the outer court disciple is less than 100 years old. I don't believe it as well. After Tong Qishan and Hong Ji left, the transporting formation in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm was still bustling with activity. At the same time, communication celestial talismans were being sent out one after another. Soon after, even the elders and disciples of the Wuxia mansion who were not present learned about the outer court disciple who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. Moreover, the outer court disciple was a 10 directions celestial duke. Naturally, no one dared to say that the outer court disciple was less than 100 years old since they did not believe Tong Qishan's words about the Duan Lingtian being younger than 100 years old. As the news spread, more than half of the Wuxia mansion was shocked. There were a few elders in the Wuxia mansion who were on good terms with the elders of the profound Nether mansion. They quickly used their communication celestial talismans to contact the elders they knew. Old He, the profound Nether mansion is really secretive. A 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space who is less than 1,000 years old? Moreover, the profound Nether mansion only gave him the status of an outer court disciple. Are you trying to embarrass us? Brother Li, do you know the outer court disciple called Duanling Tian? In the profound Nether mansion's estate, the elders who received the news from the Wuxia mansion were stunned. Duanling Tian? An outer court disciple? A 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space before he's even 1,000 years old? Are you sure you're not joking? If there's such a person in the profound Nether mansion, we would have heard about him a long time ago. He's currently ranked 93rd on the scoreboard in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Wait a moment. I'll go check out the transporting formation in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Out of curiosity, the elders of the profound Nether mansion went to the transporting formation in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. There's really such a person? When they saw Duanling Tian's name on the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, they were dumbfounded. At the same time, they heard many people discussing Duanling Tian at the transporting formation. Many people were talking about Duanling Tian. Duanling Tian was only lucky to be able to take advantage of the situation where both sides were heavily injured. That was why he was able to obtain enough points to squeeze into the top 100. You're wrong. Duanling Tian didn't enter the top 100 due to luck. A profound Nether mansion elder who had a good friend who was an elder in the Wuxia mansion refuted, "My good friend in the Wuxia mansion just sent me a message saying that their Wuxia mansion's inner court disciple, Hongji, was severely injured by Duanling Tian. After Hongji handed over his points, Tong Qishan surrendered without a fight. Therefore Duanling Tian obtained 5 points in one go. My friend in the Wuxia mansion also told me that he saw Duanling Tian's floating image pearl and saw Duanling Tian cast 6 profundities from the law of space after he injured Hongji. Where did this Duanling Tian come from? As an elder of the profound Nether mansion, I've never heard of him. He's not even 1,000 years old, but he has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. Moreover, he's a 10 directions celestial duke. How can such a person be an outer court disciple? The other elders of the profound Nether mansion who heard the news from the Wuxia mansion chimed in. Chapter 31-31. Duanling Tian did not know. Currently, his name had spread far and wide in the profound Nether mansion and the Wuxia mansion. Even some of the other celestial mansions were aware of his existence. Duanling Tian was an outer court disciple of the profound Nether mansion. He was not even 100 years old, but he had already become a 10 directions celestial duke and comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. This was also the reason why Duanling Tian's reputation gradually spread. Duanling Tian's achievements were not enough to attract too much attention. However, such achievements, coupled with the fact that he was not even 100 years old, were enough to cause a sensation in all the grade 6 celestial mansions. In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. After Duanling Tian eliminated 2 inner palace disciples from the Wuxia residence and obtained 5 points, he encountered another person after half a day. A disciple of the profound Nether mansion? The person standing opposite Duanling Tian was a middle-aged man. He wore a blue robe and had an ordinary appearance. However, his eyes were extremely sharp. Especially when he saw the identity medallion hanging on Duanling Tian's waist, his face was filled with a sinister smile. When did the profound Nether mansion's disciples become so stupid? How dare an outer court disciple enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? The middle-aged man's eyes were filled with disdain as he looked at Duanling Tian. Brat, you're unlucky to have met me. You'll become the 23rd profound Nether mansion's disciple I've killed in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. You're the 23rd disciple from the profound Nether mansion I've encountered in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The middle-aged man called himself Gong Sun Jing. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Duanling Tian. Based on Duanling Tian's words, he had killed a few disciples from the profound Nether mansion when he was in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. You have a feud with the profound Nether mansion? Duanling Tian asked with a calm expression. At the same time, his gaze landed on the identity token on Gong Sun Jing's waist. Azure Green Mansion's inner court disciple? The moment he saw the other party's identity token, Duanling Tian suddenly understood. Qi Tianming, one of the 10 inspectors of the Profound Nether Mansion, had mentioned the Azure Green Mansion before he entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Like the Profound Nether Mansion, the Azure Green Mansion was a Grade 6 celestial mansion. However, there was a deep enmity between the Azure Green Mansion and the Profound Nether Mansion for nearly 1,000 years. This was due to the conflict between the current mansion masters of the Profound Nether Mansion and the Azure Green Mansion. Several thousand years ago, the current mansion master of the Profound Nether Mansion and the current mansion master of the Azure Green Mansion were not the mansion master of the Profound Nether Mansion. The two of them wandered the world together and met a woman. They fell in love with each other at the same time. In the end, the two of them, who were originally as close as brothers, became enemies because of a woman. Although it wasn't to the extent that they would fight to the death, they were still incompatible like fire and water. Eventually, both of them became the mansion masters of the Profound Nether Mansion. One day, the eldest direct disciple of the mansion master of the Profound Nether Mansion killed the third direct disciple of the Azure Green Mansion's mansion master. The enmity between the two of them was born. Eventually, the second disciple of the mansion master of the Azure Green Mansion killed the last disciple of the mansion master of the Profound Nether Mansion. From then on, the members of the Profound Nether Mansion and the Azure Green Mansion would fight to the death unless they were wary of each other. In the outside world, the disciples of the Profound Nether Mansion and the Azure Green Mansion might be wary of each other. However, in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the disciples from the two mansions would fight each other to the death in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the disciples of the Profound Nether Mansion and the disciples of the Azure Green Mansion would kill each other. If you encounter an Azure Green Mansion disciple in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and are stronger than him, kill him with all your might. If you're not a match for him, flee immediately. After all, the Azure Green Mansion disciples won't show mercy to you. This was what Duanling Tian had told Qi Tianming before he entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. In other words, if Duanling Tian encountered someone from the Azure Green Mansion in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he would either fight to the death or flee. Naturally, he would only be able to flee with his own strength and would not be able to rely on external help. Before entering the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, Duanling Tian learned from Qi Tianming that he could not rely on external help in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Let alone celestial talismans, celestial pills, and even celestial weapons could not be used. Even defensive celestial weapons would not work here. The restrictions on formations in the middle realm were even stricter than in the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. At the very least, one could use celestial weapons in the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. It seems like my identity token has given you your answer. Gong Sun Jing sneered when he saw Duanling Tian's gaze on his identity token. Killing intent surged in his eyes as he said, "Brat, you can only blame yourself for being a disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion." As soon as Gong Sun Jing finished speaking, his celestial origin energy surged out of his body and turned into a ball of red flames that shrouded him. It was clear Gong Sun Jing was about to make his move. Gong Sun Jing. I saw his name on the scoreboard before I came in. I think he's ranked 69th. The scoreboard of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm that Duanling Tian had read before he entered the middle realm appeared in his mind. He remembered that Gong Sun Jing's name was ranked 69th when he saw the scoreboard. He had a total of 13 points. In other words, so far this month, Gong Sun Jing had obtained a total of 12 points, one of which was his own. Swoosh. Accompanied by a vast and majestic explosion, Duanling Tian's eyes flashed and became hot. A flame that shot up into the sky whistled and swept over in a menacing manner. In just a blink of an eye, Duanling Tian discovered many familiar profundities from the law of fire from the attacks. The pillaging profundity, the explosion profundity, the burning profundity. Coupled with the fire elemental profundity, the law of fire's fundamental profundity, this meant Gong Sun Jing's attack contained 4 profundities from the law of fire. You'll be the fastest Profound Nether Mansion's disciple I've killed in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Gong Sun Jing sneered when he saw the Profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple was completely unaffected by his attack that contained only 4 profundities from the law of fire. In just a blink of an eye, he had arrived in front of Duanling Tian. However, in the next moment, just when he thought Duanling Tian was about to be killed by him, Duanling Tian vanished into thin air before his eyes like a ghost. Duanling Tian had vanished into thin air. Due to this reason, Gong Sun Jing's attack missed. How's this possible? After his attack missed, the flames on Gong Sun Jing's body grew even stronger. He was sent flying hundreds of meters away before he finally came to a stop. When he turned around, he saw Duanling Tian standing in the distance with his hands clasped behind his back as he looked at him calmly. What kind of technique is that? I didn't even see how he dodged my attack. Gong Sun Jing looked at Duanling Tian solemnly. At the same time he kept recalling what had happened earlier. The moment he disappeared into thin air, the space around him seemed to tremble for a moment. Is it possible that he used the law of space's teleportation profundity earlier? Gong Sun Jing sighed in relief when he thought about this. I didn't expect an outer court disciple like you would be able to comprehend the law of space's teleportation profundity, Gong Sun Jing said as he looked at Duanling Tian meaningfully. However, before he could finish speaking, his eyes widened as though he had just recalled something. Why, you're not even 100 years old. Although Gong Sun Jing did not use his divine consciousness to probe Duanling Tian from the beginning until the end, he could vaguely sense the aura of Duanling Tian's body that was not even 100 years old. His heart skipped a beat when he thought about it. Even if Duanling Tian had used the law of space's teleportation profundity earlier, the fluctuation of celestial origin energy he sensed earlier was similar to that of a 10 directions celestial duke. In other words, Duanling Tian was a 10 directions celestial duke. Gong Sun Jing's eyes widened when he recalled Duanling Tian's aura. A 10 directions celestial duke who's not even 100 years old? Even if he has only comprehended the law of space's space elemental profundity and the teleportation profundity, his innate talent is heaven-defying. There had never been a 10 directions celestial duke who was not even 100 years old in the history of the Azure Green Mansion. Even in the history of the Southern Heaven Territory, such an existence was extremely rare. Moreover, it seemed that only one or two of the 10 great clans had such an existence. Gong Sun Jing's blood boiled when he realized Duanling Tian was a 10 directions celestial duke who was not even 100 years old. Although I've killed many disciples of the profound Nether Mansion, I've never killed such a monstrous genius before. Gong Sun Jing's eyes shone brightly as he looked at Duanling Tian. However, he felt as though a bucket of cold water had been poured on him. He's a 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity. Even if he has only comprehended the law of space's space elemental profundity and the space elemental profundity, he should be able to escape from me easily. After all, the speed and frequency of his teleportation are comparable to the speed and frequency of my attacks. Gong Sun Jing felt slightly helpless when he thought about this. With his current cultivation base, it was impossible for him to kill a 10 directions celestial duke who had comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity. It did not matter if his opponent was much weaker than him. No wonder an outer court disciple like you dares to come here. As it turns out, you're a 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity. Gong Sun Jing glanced at Duanling Tian coldly before he turned around to leave. Since he could not kill Duanling Tian, he did not want to waste his time here. However, he did not expect Duanling Tian to be so strong. Chapter 31-32. Gong Sun Jing had thought Duanling Tian would tactfully leave since he had decided to leave. After all, he could not kill Duanling Tian due to Duanling Tian's teleportation profundity. Under such circumstances, there was no point in continuing the fight. What? I've spared your life but you still want to die? Gong Sun Jing sneered as he looked at Duanling Tian who was blocking his path. Spare my life. Duanling Tian was taken aback by Gong Sun Jing's words. Then he laughed. If you want to kill me, you'll have to catch up to my speed and frequency of teleportation. As a 10 directions celestial duke, you'll have to cast at least 2 profundities from a law to catch up to my speed. The speed profundity of the law of fire is the pillaging profundity and the fire elemental profundity. Even if you've comprehended both profundities, there's no suitable environment for you to use the fire elemental profundity, let alone the pillaging profundity. Duanling Tian was well aware of his current predicament. Moreover, the law of fire was his main source of strength before he comprehended the law of space. Even if he had comprehended the fire movement profundity, he would have to be in an environment filled with flames to unleash its full strength. However, Gong Sun Jing was not in such an environment. When Gong Sun Jing heard Duanling Tian's words, he snorted in anger. So what if that's the case? Even if I can't kill you, do you think you can kill me? Although you're not even 100 years old and have become a 10 directions celestial duke, how many profundities can you comprehend from the law of space? If I had intentionally defended myself, would your attack have been able to break through my defense? Gong Sun Jing's tone was filled with disdain. Clearly, he did not think Duanling Tian was capable of killing him. You can try and see if your defense can withstand my attack. Duan Lingtian smiled indifferently. His celestial origin energy surged out of his body through his 99 heavenly veins and merged with the space elemental profundity. Teleportation profundity. Duan Lingtian teleported behind Gong Sun Jing without any warning. Restraining profundity. As soon as Gong Sun Jing regained his senses, Duan Lingtian cast the law of space's restraining profundity to seal the space around Gong Sun Jing to prevent him from escaping. Naturally, Duan Lingtian knew the restraining profundity would not be able to stop Gong Sun Jing. Territory profundity. Distortion profundity. Duan Lingtian used to cast the restraining profundity to prevent Duan Lingtian to use his to prevent Duan to break through the restraining profundity. The restraining profundity from the law? Duan to not to Lingtian to be to Tian to not to was to use his to be to cast to his to Tian to Tian's to his to be a to be would not. To break to Tian to him. Although Gong Sun Jing was surprised that Duan Lingtian had cast the third profundity from the law of space, he was not afraid. With just a thought, his celestial origin energy surged out of his body. Whoosh, whoosh. As soon as Gong Sun Jing's celestial origin energy surged out of his body, it turned into raging flames that seemed capable of incinerating everything. At the same time, the flames continued to rise as though they were trying to break through Duan Lingtian's restraining profundity. The fire elemental profundity. The explosion profundity. The burning profundity. The plundering profundity. The four profundities from the law of fire that Gong Sun Jing had cast earlier appeared. At the same time, two other profundities from the law of fire appeared as well. The corrosion profundity. The fire body profundity. The corrosion profundity was one of the main offensive profundities from the law of fire. It was extremely aggressive and corrosive. As for the fire body profundity, it was similar to the law of metal's metal body profundity. One's celestial origin energy that had merged with the fire elemental profundity would form a layer of flames on the surface of one's body. At the same time, one's strength would be enhanced. In addition, after using the fire body Upanishad to transform into a flaming man, the power of his Upanishads would increase accordingly. How's this possible? Initially, Gong Sun Jing thought he would be able to break through Duan Lingtian's restraining profundity if he used all his techniques. However, he soon discovered that although the power that imprisoned the space he was in was on the verge of collapse, he was still trapped inside. At the same time, his strength seemed to be restricted by a few other forces as well. Gong Sun Jing narrowed his eyes and swept his divine consciousness. His expression changed drastically. The law of space's territory profundity? The distortion profundity? At this moment, Gong Sun Jing discovered that the two profundities from the law of space Duan Lingtian were able to resist his strength. Not only is this profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple a 10-direction celestial duke, but he has also comprehended 5 profundities from the law of space? Up until now, Gong Sun Jing had seen Duan Lingtian cast 5 profundities from the law of space. The space elemental profundity, the teleportation profundity, the restraining profundity, the territory profundity, and the distortion profundity. Although Duan Lingtian had only cast 4 profundities from the law of space on Gong Sun Jing, the space elemental profundity, the restraining profundity, the territory profundity, and the distortion profundity. On the other hand, Gong Sun Jing had cast 6 profundities. However, what kind of law was the law of space? What kind of law did Gong Sun Jing comprehend? The law of space was one of the 4 supreme laws. It was superior to ordinary laws. The profundities from the law of space were stronger than ordinary first-rate profundities from ordinary laws. However, Gong Sun Jing had only comprehended the ordinary law of fire. I didn't expect someone who's not even 100 years old to be a 10-direction celestial duke and comprehend 5 profundities from the law of space. However, do you really think you're strong enough to kill me? Although Gong Sun Jing was shocked by Duan Lingtian's heaven-defying comprehension ability, he quickly regained his senses. He sneered as he made a grabbing motion with his right hand. In just a blink of an eye, swoosh, 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 swoosh. Tiny purple sword rays could be seen on the surface of the purple sword. They looked like tiny purple snakes as they revolved around the sword. Since Gong Sun Jing had comprehended the law of fire and the fire body profundity, his control over the fire elemental profundity had reached a certain level. Although he had yet to reach the peak of mastery, he was able to control the fire elemental profundity with ease. Swoosh. Gong Sun Jing shook his right hand and thrust the purple sword in his hand toward the side. He wanted to break through Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles with brute force. Based on the current situation, Gong Sun Jing would be able to break through Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles if he attacked indiscriminately. However, Duan Lingtian still had the profundity of teleportation. At that time, as long as Duan Lingtian discovered a weak spot in the spatial shackles, he could teleport there and focus on the weak spot. By then, Gong Sun Jing would be in a passive position. That was why he chose to use his own strength to break through Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles. Swoosh! Gong Sun Jing's sword pierced through the air. The void trembled as if he had almost torn it apart. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes as he saw through Gong Sun Jing's intention. In the next moment, profundity of dimension slash. With just a thought in Duan Lingtian's mind, a terrifying spatial tear suddenly appeared in the void where Gong Sun Jing's sword was traveling. Gong Sun Jing was dumbfounded when he saw this. Even though the might of his sword strike was extraordinary, it had not reached the level where it could actually tear space apart. He knew this very well. However, it was impossible for his sky-piercing sword to tear through space, so what was going on with this spatial rift? Could it be? An ominous feeling rose in Gong Sun Jing's mind. In the next moment after seeing the space crack, a gray light blade that seemed to have crossed the space from a different dimension whistled towards him. He knew that his premonition was right. This is the profundity of dimension slash? Although Gong Sun Jing had not come into contact with the law of space, he had done some research on the law of space. Therefore, he had some understanding of it. With just a glance, he could tell that Duan Lingtian was using the law of space's profundity of dimension slash. Six profundities? No matter how much Gong Sun Jing wanted to remain calm, there was nothing he could do. He was so tense that the sword in his hand seemed to have lost its momentum. But at the same time, the blurry blade of light that seemed to have traveled from another dimension collided with Gong Sun Jing's sword. During this process, Duan Lingtian had merged all the profundities from the law of space that could be added to the profundity of dimension slash. Moreover, Gong Sun Jing's sword seemed to have lost its momentum. For this reason, the profundity of dimension slash easily destroyed the sword in the blink of an eye. It was extremely powerful. No. When Gong Sun Jing tried to defend himself, his sword had already been destroyed. He could only cry out in pain as he watched the profundity of dimension slash flying toward him. Spurt. Blood splattered in the air. Gong Sun Jing, who had been full of confidence earlier, was killed by the profundity of dimension slash. His body was crushed into powder by the profundity of dimension slash. Gong Sun Jing, an inner court disciple of the Azure Green Mansion, a 10-direction celestial duke who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of fire, had died just like that. After Gong Sun Jing's death, the points in his accumulative point jade went to Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's accumulative point jade increased to 19 points. Previously, he had 6 points while Gong Sun Jing's accumulative point jade had 13 points. With 13 points, Gong Sun Jing was ranked 69th on the scoreboard. Now that Duan Lingtian had 19 points, it was only natural that Duan Lingtian's ranking was not lower than Gong Sun Jing's. Unlike the scoreboard in the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the changes in the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were instantaneous. For this reason, as soon as Duan Lingtian killed Gong Sun Jing, the scoreboard in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm changed. Chapter 31-33. In the Azure Green Mansion. At one of the portals leading to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, a group of people gathered around the scoreboard narrowed their eyes in unison. An uproar broke out among the crowd. Senior Gong Sun Jing's name is removed from the scoreboard? Senior Gong Sun Jing has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of fire, and he's always ranked in the top 60. However, he's only ranked 69th today. How did he get eliminated? Was he defeated? I think so. Unless he encountered someone from the profound Nether Mansion, he shouldn't have been killed. Moreover, even someone from the profound Nether Mansion might not be able to kill him before he crushed his accumulative point jade. That's right. I'm afraid Zhou Hongjie is the only one in the profound Nether Mansion who's capable of killing Senior Gong Sun Jing before he crushed his accumulative point jade. However, Zhou Hongjie's points didn't change at all. The disciples from the Azure Green Mansion discussed among themselves. Most of them felt Gong Sun Jing was only eliminated and not killed. While the crowd was discussing fervently among themselves, a sharp-eyed disciple of the Azure Green Manor stared intently at a name on the scoreboard. That name was in the 93rd place just a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, it has already risen to the 52nd place. It's that disciple from the profound Nether Mansion called Duan Lingtian. He originally had 6 points, but after Senior Gong Sun Jing's name disappeared from the scoreboard, his points have increased to 19. Moreover, he's ranked 52nd now. Another Azure Green Mansion disciple exclaimed. As soon as the Azure Green Mansion disciple finished speaking, the crowd fell silent. They had noticed the name Duanling Tian earlier. After all, he was a person who had entered the top 100 of the scoreboard. For this reason, they were surprised by the sudden appearance of such a person in the profound Nether Mansion. After all, they had never heard of such a person in the profound Nether Mansion. For this reason, they assumed Duanling Tian was not well known in the profound Nether Mansion and was only lucky to be ranked in the top 100. Based on the changes in the scoreboard, it was obvious Gong Sun Jing from the Azure Green Mansion was eliminated by Duanling Tian from the profound Nether Mansion. Senior Gong Sun Jing was eliminated by a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion. Will he be fine? After all, among all the 10 Directions Celestial Dukes under the age of 1000 in the profound Nether Mansion, only Zhou Hongjie and 2 other 10 Directions Celestial Dukes who have comprehended 6 profundities and are in the process of comprehending the 7th profundity are capable of killing him. The 2 of them are only slightly stronger than senior brother Gong Sun Jing. They don't have the ability to prevent senior brother Gong Sun Jing from crushing the Jade Token. However, we all know the names of those 2 people. This Duanling Tian is not them. Could it be that Zhou Hongjie and the others used this Duanling Tian as bait, and then cooperated with this Duanling Tian to kill senior brother Gong Sun Jing? That's impossible. Even if they used a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion as bait, it's impossible for them to give the points to a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion. The disciples from the Azure Green Mansion discussed among themselves. None of them knew where this disciple from the profound Nether Mansion came from since they had just learned of his existence. Let's go in and let the elders see if senior brother Gong Sun Jing's soul pearl is still intact, an Azure Green Mansion disciple suggested. Upon hearing his suggestion, many disciples from the Azure Green Mansion walked into the main hall. At the same time, many disciples from the Azure Green Mansion stayed behind. Humph! Even if senior brother Gong Sun Jing is eliminated, he won't die in the hands of a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion. Even Zhou Hongjie might not be able to kill senior brother Gong Sun Jing unless he sneaks up on him, let alone a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion. That's right. If senior brother Gong Sun Jing saw Zhou Hongjie, he would have crushed his accumulative point Jade immediately. However, these Azure Green Mansion disciples who didn't believe that Gong Sun Jing would die soon received a shocking piece of news from a group of Azure Green Mansion disciples who had left and returned. Gong Sun Jing's soul pearl had shattered. Gong Sun Jing was dead. How's that possible? Impossible. Impossible. How could a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion be capable of killing senior brother Gong Sun Jing? As time passed, more and more people in the Azure Green Mansion learned about Gong Sun Jing's death. Although Gong Sun Jing was only a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, he was one of the strongest 10 Directions Celestial Dukes in the Azure Green Mansion. He was a frequent participant in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Therefore, his reputation in the Azure Green Mansion was greater than many celestial kings. For this reason, his death caused a huge commotion in the Azure Green Mansion. A disciple from the profound Nether Mansion named Duanling Tian? He killed our Azure Green Mansion's Gong Sun Jing? The Azure Green Mansion was in an uproar. Meanwhile, in the profound Nether Mansion, the 3 sites that led to the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were in an uproar as well. Gong Sun Jing from the Azure Green Mansion has been eliminated? His points were taken by a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion? Is it Duanling Tian? Isn't Duanling Tian a young man who's not even 100 years old yet? Is he capable of eliminating Gong Sun Jing? Gong Sun Jing is a 10 Directions Celestial Duke who has comprehended 6 profundities from the Law of Fire. Duanling Tian's ranking on the scoreboard has risen to the 52nd place after eliminating Gong Sun Jing. If he only managed to make it into the top 100 due to luck, can he still rely on luck now? Cheating. He must have cheated. Or did the profound Nether Mansion hire him to cheat? Cheating? Even if he cheated, why would the profound Nether Mansion hire an Azure Green Mansion disciple? The disciples from the profound Nether Mansion were engaged in a heated discussion. At this moment, a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion suddenly spoke up. His voice that was laced with celestial origin energy drowned out everyone else's voices. Although the profound Nether Mansion and the Azure Green Mansion are like fire and water, I have a childhood friend who lives in the Azure Green Mansion. Earlier he sent me a message telling me that Gong Sun Jing from the Azure Green Mansion has died. He was killed by Duanling Tian. He even asked me when the profound Nether Mansion found someone capable of killing Gong Sun Jing in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. As soon as the profound Nether Mansion's disciple finished speaking, the surroundings fell silent. A few disciples from the profound Nether Mansion stared at the name that was ranked 52nd in shock. Duanling Tian. Did she kill Gong Sun Jing? In the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, all external forces including celestial weapons are prohibited. One can only use one's celestial origin energy, soul energy and profundities to fight. If he killed Gong Sun Jing, doesn't that mean he's stronger than Gong Sun Jing? Is that possible? He's not even 100 years old. Patrol Inspector Qi, where did you find such a monster? Apart from the Azure Green Mansion, the profound Nether Mansion was shocked as well. At this moment, the name Duanling Tian resounded in the profound Nether Mansion. At the same time, the elders and disciples of the profound Nether Mansion discovered something. Since they had never heard of Duanling Tian before, it meant he had only joined the profound Nether Mansion recently. This explained why Duanling Tian was only an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion despite his strength. However, when they found out that Duanling Tian was not even 100 years old, they were all dumbfounded and fell silent. Duanling Tian? Apart from the pavilion master of the Imperial Tutor Pavilion and Qi Tianming, one of the 10 inspectors who brought Duanling Tian to the profound Nether Mansion, there was another person in the profound Nether Mansion who knew about Duanling Tian's background. This person was none other than Bihai Ming Feng, the other inspector of the profound Nether Mansion. Duanling Tian was sent into the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm by Inspector Qi? He's ranked 52nd on the scoreboard? He even killed Gong Sun Jing? Upon hearing this, Bihai Ming Feng immediately went to look for Qi Tianming. Senior Uncle Qi, what's going on? I met Duanling Tian when the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm opened. At that time he was only a peak overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. It's only been such a short time, but he's already strong enough to kill Gong Sun Jing in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and is ranked 52nd on the scoreboard? Bihai Ming Feng was usually gentle and refined. He was rarely emotional. However, at this very moment he had completely lost his composure. He could not figure it out at all. How could a peak overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial achieve such a monstrous feat in just a few years? The Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruit. In the face of Bihai Mingfeng's insistence to get to the bottom of the matter, Qi Tianming only replied with these 4 words. The Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruit. Bihai Mingfeng's eyes widened in shock as he looked at Qi Tianming in shock. Don't tell me the rumor that some people in the Southern Heaven territory were tricked by a reincarnated celestial emperor into going to the Yanhuang Heaven as a sacrifice to the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruit tree is true? Bihai Ming Feng did not dare to confirm the rumor since he had only heard about it. Moreover, he had never heard of anyone in the profound Nether Mansion being tricked by a reincarnated celestial emperor into going to the Yanhuang Heaven. However, when he thought about how Duanling Tian had achieved so much in just a few years, he had no choice but to believe the rumor. Duanling Tian was tricked into going to the Yanhuang Heaven as well? Moreover, he even managed to snatch the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruit right under the nose of a reincarnated celestial emperor? Bihai Mingfeng sucked in a cold breath. He's not the only one. Ling Jueyun from the Cloud Platform Celestial Sect and Murong Xiao from the Murong clan were also tricked into going to the Yanhuang Heaven, Qi Tianming said. However, Murong Xiao is dead. The 2 Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruits were obtained by Duanling Tian and Ling Jueyun. Ling Jueyun didn't return from the Yanhuang Heaven. His soul pearl in the Cloud Platform Celestial Sect didn't shatter as well. When Qi Tianming learned that Duanling Tian had obtained the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruit from Sun Liang Peng, the sect leader of the Simplicity Celestial Sect, he had investigated the matter. Chapter 31-34. The 2 of them managed to snatch the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruits from under the nose of a reincarnated celestial emperor? How did they do it? Bihai Mingfeng was in disbelief. Even if the reincarnated celestial emperor's cultivation base was ordinary, he was confident he could control the situation since he dared to trick so many people. Under such circumstances, if the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruits bore fruit, he was almost certain he would be able to obtain them. However, Qi Tianming's words made Bihai Mingfeng speechless. Duanling Tian and Ling Jueyun managed to snatch the Heaven Sacrificial Divine Fruits from under the nose of a reincarnated celestial emperor? I'm afraid they're the only ones who know. Bihai Mingfeng nodded. That so-called reincarnated immortal emperor, could it be one of them? Bihai Mingfeng's eyes glinted as he speculated. I've thought about it as well. I've investigated this matter. Duanling Tian can't be the reincarnated celestial emperor. After all, he hasn't left the Simplicity Celestial Sect. It's impossible for him to invite so many people to the Yanhuang heaven. Qi Tianming shook his head and said, as for Ling Jueyun, I've investigated him in the Cloud Platform Celestial Sect as well. He only left the Cloud Platform Celestial Sect once when he went to the Yanhuang heaven. Based on the time he left, it's impossible for him to invite so many people to the Yanhuang heaven. If Bihai Mingfeng could think of it, how could Qi Tianming not think of it? What a surprise! Bihai Mingfeng muttered to himself. Upon hearing Qi Tianming's words, Bihai Mingfeng knew he had overthought things. However, he could not hide the shock on his face. He did not expect this. He did not expect the two little fellows he had met at the Scaling Cloud Lake to obtain such heaven-defying fortuitous encounters in just a few years. Senior Uncle Qi, are you the one who invited Duan Ling Tian to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Bihai Mingfeng could not help but ask when he recalled Duan Ling Tian was in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. No. Qi Tianming shook his head. Qi Tianming shook his head with a bitter smile. I brought Duan Ling Tian here to introduce him to the Imperial Tutor Palace. You want him to join the Imperial Tutor Pavilion and become the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion in the past 30,000 years? Bihai Mingfeng knew Duan Ling Tian's intention. Based on Duan Ling Tian's strength at such a young age, it would be a piece of cake for him to become the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion. Duan Ling Tian was now a monster. Even in the top 10 clans and top 5 sects, no one at his age could be compared with him. Yes. Qi Tianming nodded and continued, then that person from the Imperial Tutor Palace set a test for him. Bihai Mingfeng quietly listened to Qi Tianming's words. He wanted to know what test the person from the Imperial Tutor Pavilion set for Duan Ling Tian. He wants Duan Ling Tian to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. If Duan Ling Tian manages to rank first 12 times in a row, he'll be allowed to join the Imperial Tutor Pavilion and become the first Imperial Tutor in the profound Nether Mansion in the past 30,000 years. When Qi Tianming mentioned the test, Bihai Mingfeng was so shocked that he couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. If he was not mistaken, Duan Ling Tian was not even 100 years old yet, right? Even the Imperial Tutor of the profound Nether Mansion from 30,000 years ago would not have been able to pass such a test, right? In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, Gong Sun Jing from the Azure Green Mansion only has 13 points to rank 69th on the scoreboard. Now that I have 19 points, I should be able to rank in the top 60. Before entering the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, Duan Ling Tian had memorized everyone's points on the scoreboard. Based on his current points, he should be able to rank in the top 55. After all, he had just entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm not too long ago, so his ranking should not have changed much. Duan Ling Tian didn't know that his appearance had caused the scoreboard that was originally like a pool of stagnant water to undergo a shocking change. In the past, the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm would not change much at the end of the month. However, due to Duan Ling Tian's appearance, the scoreboard had changed a lot even though the month had almost ended. In the next 3 days, although Duan Ling Tian brazenly flew across different terrains in the sky, he did not encounter any opponents at all. This can't go on. How am I supposed to accumulate points without any opponents? Duan Ling Tian thought to himself. The reason he did not encounter anyone after 3 days was not because everyone was avoiding him. It was because there were fewer and fewer people in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Most of them had already entered and left the middle realm. After passing through a forest, Duan Ling Tian's eyes lit up. He saw a familiar valley in the distance. This valley is identical to the profound Nether Mansion's base. Is this the base of a grade 6 celestial mansion as well? As soon as Duan Ling Tian saw the valley, he saw a figure flying out of the valley. The figure happened to see Duan Ling Tian as well. The figure was a burly man with a bare upper body. His muscles were bulging from head to toe. When the burly man saw Duan Ling Tian, his eyes lit up immediately as he flew toward Duan Ling Tian. His body seemed heavy and clumsy, but when he rushed over, his speed was not slow at all. A disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? When the burly man arrived near Duan Ling Tian, he saw the identity token hanging on Duan Ling Tian's waist. An outer court disciple? When the burly man saw Duan Ling Tian was only an outer court disciple, a frown appeared on his face. Did he come here to sightsee? However, those who came in for sightseeing can also come here safely? Based on what he knew, the profound Nether Mansion's base was quite far from here. Even a 10 directions celestial duke would need at least a day and a night to reach the middle realm. It was impossible for an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion to reach the middle realm without at least a few days of travel. How was it possible that the burly man did not encounter any opponents in the past few days? Wasn't his luck too good? The martial battle mansion? Duanling Tian saw the burly man's identity token. The burly man was an inner court disciple of the martial battle mansion. His name was Hung Feng. Hung Feng, Duanling Tian recalled the names on the scoreboard in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, but Heng Feng's name was not on it. It was clear Hung Feng was not on the scoreboard. Naturally, this did not mean Hung Feng was not strong enough to make it into the scoreboard. Perhaps he had just entered the middle realm and did not have enough points to make it into the scoreboard. The place behind you is the martial battle mansion's base? Duanling Tian narrowed his eyes as he looked at Hung Feng. That's right. Hung Feng nodded. Then a smile appeared on his face as he said, Boy, you're just an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. You're quite lucky to be able to make it this far. However, your luck ends here. Now, are you going to crush your accumulative point jade, or do you want me to beat you up before you crush your accumulative point jade? Hung Feng asked. In the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, unless there was a major conflict between the profound nether mansion and the azure green mansion, the people from the two mansions would not kill each other. Naturally, there were also those who were bloodthirsty and would kill their opponents even if they did not belong to the same celestial mansion. Duanling Tian had to admit that Hung Feng was not such a person. However, Hung Feng was just as lucky as Hung Feng. Then please beat me up. Duanling Tian's narrowed eyes suddenly opened, and a bright light flashed in them. Hung Feng was stunned when he heard Duanling Tian's words. He did not expect Duanling Tian to say such a thing. Boy, you've never heard of me? Hung Feng asked in a deep voice. No. Duanling Tian shrugged. Hung Feng's face flushed red when he heard Duanling Tian's words. After all, Hung Feng was a regular in the top 50 of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Therefore, almost everyone who paid attention to the scoreboard in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm knew of him. He had only come out of closed-door cultivation today, so he was late in entering the middle realm. However, he did not expect to encounter a rash disciple who did not pay attention to the scoreboard in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm as soon as he entered the middle realm. Forget it. Why should I be so calculative with an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? It's normal for an outer court disciple to not pay attention to the scoreboard. The moment Hung Feng thought of this, his expression softened. He did not waste any time as he walked toward Duanling Tian with a sway of his muscular body. Dong, 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 dong. Hung Feng stepped in the air, and with every step he took, there was a loud bang that sounded like the beating of a drum. During this process, with every step he took, a layer of earthy yellow light would explode from his body. It was gorgeous and resplendent. In the end, when he was not far away from Duanling Tian, the layers of khaki halos shrunk and condensed. In the end, they transformed into layers of solid rock that covered his body like a rock armor. Of course, Hung Feng wasn't just wearing the rock armor. When he was wearing the rock armor, the aura he exuded was completely different. His aura was even more majestic than before, giving Duanling Tian a sense of pressure. The rock-style profundity? When the khaki light shone on Heng Feng's body, Duanling Tian knew Hung Feng had cast the law of Earth's rock-style profundity. After all, he had first come into contact with the laws of Earth. Although he had not comprehended the profundity of the laws of Earth, he had a deep understanding of the laws of Earth, so he knew many profundities of the laws of Earth in detail. The profundity of rock body in the law of Earth was similar to the profundity of metal body in the law of metal, and the profundity of fire body in the law of fire. Of course, because the laws of Earth were adept in defense, the user's defense would be strengthened greatly after he utilized the profundities of the laws of Earth. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. When Hung Feng was not far away from Duanling Tian, he opened his hands wide and released his celestial origin energy that was infused with the Earth elemental profundity. The Earth elemental profundity condensed into stone pillars in the air. Finally, these pillars formed a cage around Duanling Tian's body, trapping him inside. At the same time, a huge pressure enveloped Duanling Tian. Gravitational space profound. Chapter 31-35. The gravitational space profundity was one of the profundities from the law of Earth that Duanling Tian had come into contact with. In fact, he even knew the weak points of the gravitational space profundity. The distortion profundity. Duanling Tian narrowed his eyes as his celestial origin energy surged out of his body through his 99 heavenly veins when he faced the gravitational space profundity and the cage that was shrinking. As soon as his celestial origin energy surged out of his body, it merged perfectly with the space elemental profundity. With 99 heavenly veins, Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy was much faster than ordinary people. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy surged out of his body and merged with the space elemental profundity before he cast the distortion profundity. Swoosh, swoosh. As soon as the distortion profundity was cast, the space around Duan Lingtian began to distort and vibrate again. The gravitational force that shrouded Duan Lingtian disappeared without a trace. Naturally, this was not because Hung Feng had withdrawn the gravitational force from Duan Lingtian. Instead, it was because Duan Lingtian had used the distortion profundity to shatter the gravitational force on Duan Lingtian. At this moment, the space around Duan Lingtian was affected by the distortion profundity. Ordinary forces would not be able to get close to him. Territory profundity. Duan Lingtian cast another profundity from the law of space, the territory profundity, when the cage was only 7 to 8 meters away from him. In just a blink of an eye, the space domain expanded. The space energy inside the domain combined with the distorting power Upanishad rolled toward the cage. Apparently, he wanted to break the cage directly. At this moment, Hung Feng finally regained his senses. He's a 10 directions celestial duke. These two profundities, are they the distortion profundity and the territory profundity from the law of space? Heng Feng's strength was higher than Gong Sun Jing, whom Duan Lingtian had killed. Naturally, his eyesight was not inferior to Gong Sun Jing's as well. For this reason, when Heng Feng used Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy to confirm Duan Lingtian's cultivation base, he was able to identify the profundity of the law of space that Duan Lingtian had cast. Heng Feng's expression darkened immediately. Vibration profundity. With just a thought, a kite energy appeared above the cage formed by the gravitational space profundity. It was similar to the distortion profundity from the law of space. Although Heng Feng's profundity, he did not have the profundity of space, the law of space profundity, Duan Lingtian's territory profundity and the distortion profundity. In the next moment, boom, 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 boom. A series of explosions rang in the air as the cage formed by Heng Feng's gravitational space profundity was crushed by Duan Lingtian's power. In just a blink of an eye, the cage was reduced to dust. However, even though it had turned into powder that filled the sky, it only took a moment for the powder to once again condense into the cage from before. Moreover, the cage shrunk rapidly. It was clear Hung Feng was trying to trap Duan Lingtian inside. Upon seeing this, Duan Lingtian's eyes glinted. A faint smile appeared on his face as he muttered to himself, "The recovery profundity. Interesting. That was right." After Heng Feng's cage was crushed by Duan Lingtian's power, it was able to recover so quickly because Hung Feng had cast the law of Earth's recovery profundity at this moment. The recovery profundity was the only recovery profundity in the law of Earth. Not only could it restore one's own celestial origin energy that had been fused with the Earth elemental profundity, but it could also restore everything that had been fused with the Earth elemental profundity. For example, the cage formed by the gravitational space profundity could be repaired by the recovery profundity. Up until now, Hung Feng, an inner court disciple of the martial battle mansion, had cast 5 profundities from the law of Earth. The Earth elemental profundity, the rock-style profundity, the gravitational space profundity, the vibration profundity, and the recovery profundity. I, Hung Feng, have underestimated you. I didn't expect an outer court disciple like you would possess such strength. Hung Feng's loud voice rang in the air. However, if this is all you've got, I advise you to crush your accumulative point jade obediently. As soon as Hung Feng finished speaking, the cage formed by the gravitational space profundity continued to shrink toward Duan Lingtian. It was getting closer and closer to Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Hung Feng's vibration profundity was fully unleashed. It was on par with Duan Lingtian's distortion profundity. Although Duan Lingtian's distortion profundity was boosted by the territory profundity, it was boosted by the territory profundity. Hung Feng's vibration profundity was boosted by the gravitational space profundity and the rock-style profundity. The teleportation profundity. As soon as Hung Feng finished speaking, Duan Lingtian vanished from his spot with just a thought. Hung Feng's eyes widened in shock. At the same time, Duan Lingtian appeared behind Hung Feng. He narrowed his eyes as a restrictive energy shrouded Hung Feng, trapping him within it. This was the law of space's restraining profundity that Duan Lingtian had cast. The territory profundity. The distortion profundity. At the same time, Duan Lingtian cast the 2 profundities from the law of space again. The space profundity swept toward Hung Feng as though it was crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. The space profundity seemed capable of destroying everything in its path. All of this was too sudden for Hung Feng. Even then, when Duan Lingtian's space profundity shrouded Hung Feng, a layer of translucent crystal appeared on his rock armor. The crystal wall profundity. This was the defense profundity from the law of earth. At this critical moment, Hung Feng cast the sixth profundity from the law of earth that he had comprehended. At this moment, the strength that Hung Feng displayed was no longer inferior to the Azure Green Mansion's inner court disciple, Gongsun Jing, who was killed by Duan Lingtian. Boom, 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 boom. When Duan Lingtian's energy landed on Heng Feng's body, it only managed to shatter the crystal. The remaining energy only managed to crack the rock armor on Heng Feng's body. Barf. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Heng Feng finally managed to catch his breath. A powerful repulsive force swept out from his body. It was the repulsive force from the gravitational space profundity. Coupled with the vibration profundity, it swept out in all directions, causing the space that Duan Lingtian had shackled to tremble slightly. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's energy collided with Heng Feng's energy. Both of them were equally matched. Neither of them could do anything to the other. Recovery profundity. However, when Heng Feng cast the law of Earth's recovery profundity, not only did it repair Heng Feng's rock armor and crystal barrier, but it also strengthened his celestial origin energy that had been boosted by the Earth elemental profundity. For a moment, Duan Lingtian was at a disadvantage. The space elemental profundity, the distortion profundity, the territory profundity, the confinement profundity, and the teleportation profundity. When did the profound nether mansion have a 10-direction celestial duke like you? Although Heng Feng had the upper hand, his expression was solemn. He had never heard of such a person in the profound nether mansion before this. He was certain there was no doubt about it. If there was such a person in the profound nether mansion, even if he had not entered the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm before, he was certain Heng Feng was not a nobody. This was because he had not comprehended an ordinary law. Instead, he had comprehended one of the four supreme laws, the law of space. In other words, the difficulty of comprehending 5 profundities from a supreme law like the law of space was comparable to comprehending 7 or 8 profundities from an ordinary law. At this moment, Heng Feng was no longer in the mood to force Duan Lingtian to crush his accumulative point jade. When he discovered Duan Lingtian had comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity, he knew it was impossible for him to keep Duan Lingtian here. In fact, Duan Lingtian would be able to escape if his opponent was not a 10-direction celestial duke who had comprehended the law of wind's gale profundity or other speed profundities. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. While Heng Feng was looking at Duan Lingtian with a grim expression on his face, several figures flew out from the Martial Battle Mansion's base. Senior Brother Heng Feng? Who's this person? He's actually able to stand up to Senior Brother Heng Feng. He's a disciple of the profound Nether Mansion. Am I seeing things? He's an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? Senior Brother Heng Feng is in such a wretched state because of an outer court disciple? The newcomers were the disciples of the Martial Battle Mansion. They had been in the Martial Battle Mansion's base when they heard the commotion. Although Duan Lingtian and Heng Feng had fought several times, it had only been a short while. I didn't expect you to have comprehended 6 profundities from the law of earth as well. Duan Lingtian looked at Heng Feng with a hint of surprise in his eyes. From the beginning until the end, Duan Lingtian did not pay any attention to the disciples of the Martial Battle Mansion even though they were all inner court disciples. Heng Feng's strength was not inferior to Gongsun Jing from the Azure Green Mansion whom he had killed earlier. In fact, Gongsun Jing might not even be a match for Heng Feng. Naturally, if Gongsun Jing wanted to flee, Heng Feng might not be able to catch up to him. After all, Heng Feng's strength was the law of earth. His speed was his weakness. He said Senior Brother Heng Feng has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of earth. Is it possible that Senior Brother Heng Feng has cast 6 profundities from the law of earth in front of him? That might not be the case. Don't forget that Senior Brother Heng Feng isn't a nobody in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. That person must have heard of Senior Brother Heng Feng and knew Senior Brother Heng Feng had comprehended 6 profundities. Can't you see that Senior Brother Heng Feng has cast 6 profundities from the law of earth? Many of the Martial Battle Mansion's inner court disciples who were relatively strong and discerning could tell Heng Feng had cast 6 profundities from the law of earth. You've comprehended the teleportation profundity from the law of space. I can't keep you here. Heng Feng said in a deep voice. Upon hearing Heng Feng's words, the group of Martial Battle Mansion's inner court disciples was stunned. The teleportation profundity? Chapter 31-36. You can't stop me, but that doesn't mean I can't stop you. Upon hearing Heng Feng's words, Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. In the next instant, the space around Duan Lingtian in the space territory began to stir. It was as though it was preparing for something. After a few moments, a ripping sound could be heard as a spatial tear appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. That's a spatial tear? Heavens! He actually tore a spatial tear? How is he so strong? No, he didn't use his own strength to tear a spatial tear. He used the law of space to tear a spatial tear. To be more precise, he's using the dimensional/profundity from the law of space. When the group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples were still in shock, a gray saber ray appeared from behind the spatial tear. This blade glow leaped out from behind the spatial crack. It was like a dimensional blade that traversed through another dimension. As soon as it appeared, it seemed to cause everything around it to pale in comparison. Whoosh, whoosh. After the gray saber ray appeared from behind the spatial tear, Duan Lingtian's comprehension of the other profundities from the law of space surged into the saber ray, causing the saber ray to grow rapidly. After the saber ray grew, the aura it emitted became even more terrifying. Although it was not targeted at the group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples, they still felt suffocated. How powerful! What a terrifying saber ray! So this is the dimensional/profundity from the law of space? The first defensive profundity from the law of space? The group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples who were not targeted could sense how terrifying the dimensional/profundity was. Naturally, Heng Feng, who was targeted by the dimensional/profundity, could sense how terrifying the gray saber ray was. At this moment, even though Heng Feng had cast the law of Earth's rock-style profundity, crystal barrier profundity, and other profundities from the law of Earth to block the dimensional/profundity, he did not feel safe at all. Defense profundity. Heng Feng took a deep breath before he cast the law of Earth's profundity that he had just comprehended. Numerous yellow talismans appeared around Heng Feng's body and began to revolve around him. Of course, these yellow talismans were a little dim and blurry. It was as if they could not provide much defense for Heng Feng. Senior brother Heng Feng has even used the seventh profundity of the law of Earth, the defense profundity? The disciples of the Martial Battle Mansion held their breaths. They could see that Heng Feng was using all his strength. Boom. Rumble. Faced with the ferocious dimensional/profundity, Heng Feng used the seventh profundity of the law of Earth that he had just comprehended. With a single thought, he combined the vibrational profundity of the law of Earth with the gravitational space profundity to form a cage in front of him in an attempt to block the dimensional slash. At this moment, Heng Feng was defending with all his might and attacking with all his might. He did not dare to be careless. At the same time, the celestial origin energy in his body continued to surge out of his body, supporting both his defense and offense. At this moment, Heng Feng had completely fallen into a passive position. You've even comprehended the seventh profundity of the laws of Earth, the defense profundity? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he saw that Heng Feng had even used the defense profound meaning that he had just comprehended. A faint smile appeared on his face as if he didn't care at all. If it's the profound of defense at novice level, he might be able to block my dimensional slash. However, this initial comprehension of the defense profoundness is still insufficient. It was as if he was setting off Duan Lingtian's thoughts. In the void, the dimensional slash whistled through the air, destroying Heng Feng's attack like it was nothing. Then it continued to fly towards Heng Feng. Although the dimensional slash had consumed some of its energy, it was quickly replenished by Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy. Of course, only Duan Lingtian, who had 99 heavenly veins, could recover from the dimensional slash in such a short time. Although the dimensional slash did not consume a lot of energy, it did not consume a lot of energy. However, if it was not for someone with 99 heavenly veins, it would not have been possible for him to recover so much energy in such a short time. Bus, 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 bus. The dimensional slash tore through the void as though it could destroy everything. The terrifying sound of the saber humming continuously rang in Heng Feng's ears. Although he had put all his energy into defending himself, he was still not confident of winning. The power of the dimensional slash was too strong. The law of space was indeed worthy of being one of the four supreme laws. Although Duan Lingtian had only comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space, he felt like he could defeat Heng Feng, who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of Earth and had just comprehended the 7th profundity from the law of Earth. Moreover, Duan Lingtian had been defeated while he had put all his energy into defending himself. After all, the law of Earth he had comprehended could not be compared to the 4 supreme laws in terms of defense. But now he had a strong feeling that Dimensional Slash could break through his defenses, injure him and even kill him. Moreover, the sense of danger grew stronger as the Dimensional Slash approached him. In the end he could not help but feel his head go numb. No. In the face of death, Hung Feng's eyes widened as his aura fluctuated violently. He could no longer maintain his composure. Hung Feng, who was on the brink of death, suddenly felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head. He suddenly felt enlightened. The doubts he had regarding the law of Earth's defense profundity had been resolved at this moment. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Just as the Dimensional Slash was about to cut through the yellow talismans that were revolving around Hung Feng, the originally dim and illusory yellow talismans suddenly solidified. With this, the talismans which were originally vulnerable to the Dimensional Slash, became Hung Feng's first line of defense and barely managed to stop the Dimensional Slash. You managed to comprehend the law of Earth's defense profundity under the pressure of my attack? Duan Lingtian was slightly taken aback when he saw the situation. However, so what if you've comprehended the law of Earth's defense profundity? The defense profundity is not attached to your body. I can use the law of space's teleportation profundity to send the Dimensional Slash behind the defense profundity. There's no need for me to be entangled with it. Duan Lingtian's heart skipped a beat. The Dimensional Slash profundity that was in a stalemate with the defense profundity disappeared mysteriously. When it reappeared, it was behind the defense profundity and continued to attack Hung Feng. At this moment, the defense profundity was useless. How is this possible? Hung Feng's expression changed drastically, and a look of despair appeared on his face. At this moment, it was already too late for him to withdraw the defense profundity. It was impossible for him to catch up with the speed of the Dimensional Slash. The Dimensional Slash landed on the crystalline rock armor on Hung Feng's body. After a short stalemate, it cut through the rock armor as though it was tofu. The law of Earth's crystal wall profundity had completed its mission. Naturally, its sacrifice was not in vain. At the very least, it had offset half of the power of the Dimensional Slash profundity. After the crystal wall profundity came the rock-style profundity. The rock-style profundity was not the main defensive profundity from the law of Earth. Although it had some defensive properties, it could not be compared to the crystal wall profundity and the defense profundity. For this reason, Hung Feng's face turned deathly pale when the Dimensional Slash profundity cut through the rock armor's crystal wall. I can't believe I'm going to die in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. In desperation, Hung Feng closed his eyes. At this moment, there was nothing he could do to turn the situation around. However, after a few moments he discovered he did not die as he had expected. Although he felt an icy cold aura on his chest and even felt a burning pain, the Dimensional Slash that had landed on his body had disappeared at the same time. Buzz. The crisp sound of a saber rang in the air before it disappeared. Hung Feng knew his opponent, the profound Nether Mansion's outer court disciple, had shown him mercy. Thank you for sparing my life. Hung Feng opened his eyes and looked at the small wound on his chest. Then he looked at Duan Lingtian gratefully. Those who had not experienced the despair of death would not be able to understand how Hung Feng felt at this moment. It was as though Hung Feng had just walked through the gates of hell. Since you thought you could kill me and had no intention of killing me, naturally I won't kill you. Duan Lingtian said indifferently, now it's time for you to hand over your points, right? If Duan Lingtian did not use the transportation profundity to send the Dimensional Slash profundity behind Hung Feng would have died. It was just as Duan Lingtian had said. Since Hung Feng had no intention of killing him, Duan Lingtian had shown mercy. If Hung Feng had wanted to kill him from the beginning, he would not have held back. Of course. Hung Feng hastily brought out his accumulative point jade. At the same time he felt a chill run down his spine. His clothes were drenched in cold sweat. At this moment he could not help but feel relieved that he had not killed indiscriminately. Otherwise he would have been dead by now. No matter what, I owe you a favor. If there's a chance in the future, I'll definitely repay you. Hung Feng said to Duan Lingtian before he crushed his accumulative point jade. His tone was sincere, and there was no hint of hypocrisy in it. After Hung Feng was sent away by the transportation formation in his accumulative point jade, Duan Lingtian's accumulative point jade increased by 1 point. At this moment, Duan Lingtian had 20 points in his accumulative point jade. You just came in? Duan Lingtian was slightly speechless when he saw Hung Feng had only given him 1 point. After all, Hung Feng was much stronger than Gong Sun Jing, who had given him 13 points. This made him feel slightly unbalanced. However, there was nothing he could do about it. After all, he had bumped into Hung Feng when he first came in. Oh. All of a sudden, Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow as though he had sensed something. In the next moment, whoosh, Duan Lingtian vanished from his spot. When he reappeared, he was already 100 meters away, blocking the path of a group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples who were trying to return to the Martial Battle Mansion's base. Since you're already here, why are you in such a hurry to return? Duan Lingtian said with a smile as he looked at the group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples. Chapter 31-37. In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, each Grade 6 celestial mansion had its own campsite. Only those who had both the identity token of that immortal mansion and the point jade token of that immortal mansion were allowed to enter the encampment. Others were not allowed to enter. If they tried to force their way into the campsites, they would trigger the defensive formation the Southern Heaven Celestial Lord had set up. It was impossible for a 10 Directions Celestial Duke to breach the defensive formation. The group of disciples from the Martial Battle Mansion had been staying in the campsite. Regardless of how strong Duan Lingtian was, as long as they did not leave the campsite, it would be impossible for him to break into the campsite. However, they had left the campsite when Duan Lingtian and Hung Feng were fighting. When they saw Duan Lingtian had eliminated Hung Feng, their first thought was to return to the campsite. Unfortunately, as soon as they turned around, Duan Lingtian had already blocked their path and was glaring at them like a tiger watching its prey. They had witnessed Duan Lingtian's strength with their own eyes. Even Hung Feng, who had comprehended 7 profundities from the Law of Earth, was no match for Duan Lingtian. Hung Feng had successfully comprehended the Law of Earth's defense profundity at the brink of death. They had witnessed this clearly. For this reason, they were shocked that Duan Lingtian was able to defeat Hung Feng, who had comprehended 7 profundities from the Law of Earth. Even if Hung Feng had not comprehended 7 profundities from the Law of Earth, none of them would have been a match for him, let alone Hung Feng, who had comprehended 7 profundities from the Law of Earth. However, now that they were faced with Duan Lingtian, who was stronger than Hung Feng, they could not bring themselves to fight him at all. Duan Lingtian, I'm willing to hand over my points. However, before I leave, I have a question for you. Are you really an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? One of the disciples from the Martial Battle Mansion knew it was impossible for him to return to the campsite under the protection of Duan Lingtian. He took out his accumulative point jade. However, before he crushed his accumulative point jade, he asked Duan Lingtian a question. Are you really an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? Following his question, the remaining disciples of the Martial Battle Mansion glanced at Duan Lingtian. Obviously, they were all interested in this question. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. The Martial Battle Mansion's disciple could not help but curse when he saw Duan Lingtian nodding. The people from the profound Nether Mansion are blind. How can someone like you be an outer court disciple? Duan Lingtian, why don't you leave the profound Nether Mansion and join the Martial Battle Mansion? My father is the Vice Mansion Master of the Martial Battle Mansion. I can ask him to recommend you to the Martial Battle Mansion. If you're willing to join the Martial Battle Mansion, my father will recommend you to become a core disciple of the Martial Battle Mansion. The Martial Battle Mansion's disciple suddenly changed the topic and began to poach the profound Nether Mansion's disciples. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the Martial Battle Mansion's disciples lit up as they looked at Duan Lingtian expectantly. If Duan Lingtian joined the Martial Battle Mansion, the Martial Battle Mansion would have a powerhouse who could dominate the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm in the future. Although Duan Lingtian would not be of much help to them, they could still brag about it in front of the other disciples. I just joined the profound Nether Mansion a few days ago. Duan Lingtian shrugged and said, Thank you for your kind offer, but I won't leave the profound Nether Mansion. Just joined the profound Nether Mansion a few days ago? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the Martial Battle Mansion's disciple tried to dissuade him. However, he could see the determination in Duan Lingtian's voice. The profound Nether Mansion is really lucky, the Martial Battle Mansion's disciple, who claimed to be the son of the Vice Mansion Master of the Martial Battle Mansion, said bitterly as he crushed the accumulative point jade in his hand. Duan Lingtian's accumulative point jade instantly skyrocketed. 29 points? Duan Lingtian was pleasantly surprised when he saw the number of points on his accumulative point jade. He did not expect the Martial Battle Mansion's disciple would have so many points. After all, not everyone had 9 points. 9 points should be on the scoreboard. Before I came in, there were 2 people with 9 points. One of them is a Martial Battle Mansion's disciple called Lu Xiaozhou. Duan Lingtian recalled the name of the Martial Battle Mansion's disciple who had 9 points on the scoreboard before he entered the Heaven's Burial Ground. Lu Xiaozhou. Before Duan Tian entered the profound nether mansion, Lu Xiaozhou was ranked 78th on the scoreboard. He was one of the two people who had 9 points. It was clear Lu Xiaozhou had obtained 9 points earlier than the other person. When Duan Tian regained his senses, he turned to look at the group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples. A bitter smile could be seen on their faces at this moment. Earlier, when Duan Tian was distracted, none of them took the opportunity to flee. None of them dared to take the lead. Based on the current situation, they would only have to give up their points and leave the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm earlier. Even if they gave up their points, it would not affect them at all since they were ranked outside the top 100. Naturally, they would not be rewarded by the Martial Battle Mansion. The major celestial mansions in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, including the Martial Battle Mansion, would reward their disciples who were ranked in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, even if they were ranked outside the top 20. Of course, those who were ranked within the top 20 would not only receive preferential rewards, but they would also receive substantial rewards. If they tried to flee, they might infuriate the profound Nether Mansion's disciple and kill him. For the sake of their lives, they did not dare to act recklessly. Crack, 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 crack. After one of the Martial Battle Mansion's disciples crushed his accumulative point Jade, the rest of the Martial Battle Mansion's disciples followed suit. In just a blink of an eye, Duan Tian's accumulative point Jade increased to 41 points. At the same time, the group of Martial Battle Mansion's disciples disappeared from Duan Tian's sight. I saw the scoreboard before I came in. With 41 points, I'm ranked 45th. Duan Tian could still remember the scoreboard. Before he entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he had 50 points while the person ranked 45th only had 36 points. With his current points he could easily overtake the person ranked 45th and below. The higher one's ranking was, the greater the disparity between the scoreboard and the higher one's ranking was. When Duan Tian only had 6 points he was ranked 93rd. When he had 19 points he was ranked 52nd. Now that he had 41 points he was only ranked 45th. His points had doubled, but his ranking on the scoreboard had only advanced by a few places. Before Duan Tian entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he was shocked when he saw his ranking on the scoreboard. The 50th place on the scoreboard was a watershed. Even if the top 50 were ranked close to each other, there would still be a gap of 3 places between them. On the other hand, the gap between the top 50 was very small. Those who are ranked in the top 50 must have comprehended at least 6 profundities and are in the process of comprehending a 7th profundity. Moreover, they must be the cream of the crop. Such people can easily defeat most people in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Duan Tian thought to himself. In the past, it would have been difficult for Heng Feng to rank in the top 50. However, with his strength, there's a high chance he'll rank in the top 50 from next month onward. Duan Tian thought there was a high chance Heng Feng would rank in the top 50 because Heng Feng had comprehended the law of earth. Although Heng Feng had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of earth, his speed was still his shortcoming. For those who comprehended the law of wind, even if they only comprehended 2 profundities from the law of wind, as long as their second profundity was the gale profundity or another speed profundity, as long as they were not careless, they would be able to escape unscathed from Heng Feng. Of course, Heng Feng can also find someone who is faster but weaker than him to help him. That way he'll have a chance to defeat his opponent, Duan Tian said. Although Heng Feng's speed was slow, he could easily find a helper from the Martial Battle Mansion to help him. With this, it would be much easier for Heng Feng to rank in the top 50. In the Martial Battle Mansion. It was a grade 6 celestial mansion just like the profound Nether Mansion. There were a few transporting formations in the Martial Battle Mansion that led to the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. When Heng Feng appeared miserably at one of the teleportation points, the person at the teleportation point was naturally very surprised. Heng Feng, you're injured? A group of elders and disciples from the Martial Battle Mansion gasped when they saw the inch-deep wound on Heng Feng's chest. Heng Feng had comprehended the law of earth. In the Martial Battle Mansion, his defense was invincible against those below the Celestial King realm. However, not only was Heng Feng eliminated, but he was also injured. It was clear someone had breached his defense. Heng Feng, who breached your defense? One of the elders asked in shock. Is it Leng Yunyu from the Green Spirit Mansion or Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion? The elders from the Martial Battle Mansion asked this question because there were only a handful of people in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. There were less than 30 10 directions celestial dukes from the various celestial mansions who were capable of breaching Heng Feng's defense. In the past few days, Only Leng Yunyu from the Green Spirit Mansion and Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion had managed to break through Hung Feng's defense with a change in points. Neither of them. Hung Feng shook his head as he looked at the scoreboard. A wry smile appeared on his face when he saw the names that had suddenly entered the top 50. It seems like they didn't make it back to the campsite. Hung Feng had a hunch about this. At this moment, a figure appeared at the transporting formations. It was none other than the Martial Battle Mansion's disciple who had crushed his accumulative point Jade in front of Duan Lingtian. Little Zhou, why are you here? The eyes of the Martial Battle Mansion's elder widened in shock when he saw the person who had just appeared. At the same time, he discovered the person who had just appeared was none other than Hung Feng. Chapter 31-38. Lu Xiaozhou was the son of one of the Vice Mansion Masters in the Martial Battle Mansion. Although he was not as strong as Hung Feng, he had comprehended 5 profundities from the Law of Metal and was in the process of comprehending the 6th profundity from the Law of Metal. In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, Lu Xiaozhou's best result was to rank 69th on the scoreboard and enter the top 70. After all, this was a rare achievement for a 10 Directions Celestial Duke who had only comprehended 5 profundities from a law. Naturally, this was due to the fact that Lu Xiaozhou had comprehended the Law of Metal. If he had comprehended the Law of Earth, he might not even be able to rank in the top 80, let alone the top 70. Earlier, the people in the transporting formation saw Lu Xiaozhou ranked 78th on the scoreboard. Lu Xiaozhou's ranking on the scoreboard was 78th. For Lu Xiaozhou, this could only be considered average. However, Lu Xiaozhou could still stay in there for 3 more days, so it was not impossible for him to obtain a better ranking. Many people were looking forward to seeing Lu Xiaozhou's performance. Who would have thought that after Hung Feng, Lu Xiaozhou would also be eliminated? Both of them were eliminated one after another. That person even defeated senior brother Hung Feng? I didn't even need to fight with him since I knew what was good for me. Lu Xiaozhou shrugged when he heard the elder's question. As soon as Lu Xiaozhou finished speaking, the surroundings fell silent. The Martial Battle Mansion's elder who asked Lu Xiaozhou finally regained his senses. He took a deep breath and asked, "You mean? You were also eliminated by the person who broke through Hung Feng's defense?" Swoosh, swoosh. As soon as the Martial Battle Mansion's elder finished speaking, 2 more figures appeared. It was clear they were also eliminated from the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. 2 more people were eliminated? There are only a dozen people left in the Martial Battle Mansion, right? In less than 15 minutes, 4 people were eliminated from the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. This was rare in the Martial Battle Mansion. Don't tell me both of you were eliminated by the person who eliminated Hung Feng and Xiaozhou as well? The elder asked in shock as he looked at the 2 disciples who were eliminated from the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. After all, the 4 of them were eliminated in such a short period of time. This was unlikely to be a coincidence. Yes. Under the shocked gazes of the Martial Battle Mansion's elders and disciples, the 2 Martial Battle Mansion's elders nodded in agreement. Actually, there were 7 people who were eliminated along with us. They must have entered the middle realm through another transporting formation. That's why they weren't sent here. As soon as this person finished speaking, the entire crowd fell into a deathly silence again. There were still 7 people who had been eliminated? In other words, 11 people including Hung Feng and Lu Xiaozhou had been eliminated in just 15 minutes. Moreover, they were all eliminated by the same person? After eliminating us, he has already entered the top 50. Lu Xiaozhou's gaze fell on the light screen of the scoreboard not far away, and he sighed with a bitter smile. The elders and disciples of the Martial Battle Mansion immediately shifted their attention to the ranking after hearing Lu Xiaozhou's words. With a glance, their gazes converged on the name that was ranked 45th. They had paid attention to the people who were previously ranked in the top 50 and had an impression of them. However, this name had only appeared there now. Naturally, some of them had noticed this name as well. If I'm not mistaken, this name only has 19 points. He's a disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion. However, we've never heard of such a person in the Profound Nether Mansion before. One of the Martial Battle Mansion's disciples said. That's right. I've never heard of such a person before. Duan Lingtian? Since when did the Profound Nether Mansion have such a person? Is he a hidden trump card of the Profound Nether Mansion? At this moment, the people from the Martial Battle Mansion finally realized who Duan Lingtian was. The person who had defeated Hung Feng and eliminated Lu Xiaozhou and the others was none other than Duan Lingtian. What did it mean for him to be able to break through Hung Feng's defenses? This meant Duan Lingtian was in the top 50. The profound Nether Mansion's disciple was definitely strong enough to rank in the top 30. Are all of you really eliminated by him alone? The Martial Battle Mansion's elder who had questioned Lu Xiaozhou earlier asked in disbelief. He had assumed Hung Feng was eliminated by Leng Yunyu from the Green Spirit Mansion or Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion. After all, they were the only people in the Middle Realm who were capable of defeating Hung Feng. However, Hung Feng denied it. When Lu Xiaozhou and the others returned, Lu Xiaozhou told them that the person who had eliminated them was none other than Duan Lingtian, a disciple from the profound Nether Mansion. He found this hard to believe. It's normal that we haven't heard of him. He told me he only joined the profound Nether Mansion a few days ago. Moreover, the identity token on his waist is only an outer court disciple's identity token, Lu Xiaozhou said. For this reason, I think the profound Nether Mansion must have hired him as an external helper. Moreover, I'm afraid this external helper has a powerful background. Lu Xiaozhou's eyes glinted brightly when he finished speaking. As soon as he crushed his accumulative point jade, he boldly extended his divine consciousness to probe Duan Lingtian, the outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion. Due to this, he discovered something shocking. He discovered Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. He was not even 100 years old, but he had defeated Hung Feng, who had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of earth. What did this mean? Lu Xiaozhou was certain of this. If he had not personally investigated Duan Lingtian's age, he would not have believed Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. Even he would not have believed it if someone told him Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. For this reason, he did not intend to reveal this matter to anyone. Unless someone else discovered it, he would only say it out loud. Otherwise, no one would believe him even if he said it out loud. It was meaningless. He joined the profound Nether Mansion a few days ago? An outer court disciple? Upon hearing Lu Xiaozhou's words, realization dawned on the Martial Battle Mansion's elders and disciples. Hung Feng, what law did that person comprehend? Since he was able to breach your defenses, he must have comprehended an offensive law, right? The Martial Battle Mansion's elder looked at Hung Feng curiously. Apart from that, he must have comprehended at least 7 profundities from the law of earth, right? Upon hearing the Martial Battle Mansion's elder's words, everyone, including Lu Xiaozhou, turned to look at Hung Feng. Although Lu Xiaozhou knew Duan Lingtian had comprehended the law of space, he did not know how many profundities Duan Lingtian had comprehended from the law of space. Since he was not familiar with the law of space and he was not the one who had fought Duan Lingtian, he did not know how many profundities Duan Lingtian had used from the law of space. I don't know how many profundities he has comprehended from the law of earth, but he defeated me with 7 profundities from the law of earth. Hung Feng replied. Duan Lingtian, the outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion, had used 6 profundities from the law of space when they fought. When Duan Lingtian had used the cross-dimensional profundity, Hung Feng, who had comprehended the defense profundity, thought he would be able to block Duan Lingtian's attack. Who would have thought Duan Lingtian would use the law of space's transportation profundity to bypass his defense profundity and attack him? With that, Hung Feng's defense profundity would be rendered useless. Duan Lingtian used 7 profundities. It's not surprising that you were defeated. As long as the profundities Duan Lingtian comprehended from the law of wind, the law of metal, the law of fire, the law of thunder, and the law of destruction are not weak, they'll be able to break through your defense. The Martial Battle Mansion's elder knew Hung Feng's strength very well, so he made such a decision. Elder Yun, I'm afraid you're unaware that senior brother Hung Feng's defense was breached after he comprehended the defense profundity. Before Hung Feng could reply, Lu Xiaozhou had already spoken. What? Upon hearing Lu Xiaozhou's words, the elder from the Martial Battle Mansion was shocked. Hung Feng has comprehended the defense profundity? Based on his knowledge, Hung Feng had only comprehended 6 profundities from the law of earth. As for the 7th profundity, the defense profundity, he had only just begun to comprehend it. However, based on Lu Xiaozhou's words, Hung Feng had comprehended the defense profundity? Hung Feng, the elder from the Martial Battle Mansion, turned to look at Hung Feng, hoping to get an answer from him. Yes. Hung Feng nodded. Speaking of which, I have to thank him. When I fought with him, I comprehended the defense profound meaning at the brink of death. As for him, it was only after I comprehended the defense profundity that he used the 7th profundity of the law he comprehended. Otherwise, he would have been able to defeat me with just 6 profundities. Fear still lingered in Hung Feng's heart when he recalled how powerful Duan Lingtian's attack was at that time. You're saying he only used 6 profundities to break through your defense before you comprehended the defense profundity? He only used 7 profundities to break through your defense after you comprehended the defense profundity? The martial battle mansion's elder's eyes narrowed as he gasped. The other elders and disciples from the martial battle mansion who were aware of Hung Feng's strength gasped as well. Is it possible that he has comprehended the supreme law? Another elder from the martial battle mansion asked with a solemn expression on his face. In his opinion, even if someone who had comprehended the law of wind, the law of metal, the law of thunder, the law of destruction, or any of the other laws could not break through Hung Feng's defense when he had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of earth. After all, 2 of the profundities from the law of earth that Hung Feng had comprehended were defensive profundities. On top of that, Hung Feng had also comprehended the law of Earth's rock body technique. For this reason he made a bold guess. Chapter 31-39. After all, the 4 supreme laws were mysterious and powerful. Although not all of the 4 supreme laws were offensive laws, some of their mysteries were so strange that they could often ignore the defenses of the law of earth. For this reason, the elders from the martial battle mansion came to such a conclusion. Elder Lu, you're right. That person has comprehended one of the 4 supreme laws, the law of space. Lu Xiaozhou said in a timely manner. The law of space. Upon hearing Lu Xiaozhou's words, apart from those who had just come out of the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, the people from the martial battle mansion were shocked. A 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space? Moreover, he's not even 1,000 years old? Where did the profound nether mansion find such a monstrous person? Many of the elders and disciples from the martial battle mansion gasped. They must have paid a hefty price to recruit someone like that, right? Is it worth it for the profound nether mansion to do this? Many people voiced their doubts. When you find out that Duan Lingtian is not even 100 years old, you'll be so shocked that you won't be able to recover from your shock. Lu Xiaozhou thought to himself as he glanced at the elders and disciples from the martial battle mansion. At the same time he sent a message to his father. Others might not believe his words, but he knew that his father would definitely believe him. Duan Lingtian, an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion who's not even 100 years old, is a 10 directions celestial duke? Moreover, he has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space? Lu Xiaozhou's father, one of the vice mansion masters of the martial battle mansion, was stunned when he received Lu Xiaozhou's message. Father, do you think that such an existence could be from the upper 7 regions? Lu Xiaozhou asked through the message transmission. However, because his father was too shocked by his previous message, his father was still in a daze when he received the message. Meanwhile, news of 11 people, including Hang Feng and Lu Xiaozhou, being eliminated from the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm by the same person caused a huge commotion in the martial battle mansion. The people from the martial battle mansion were even more shocked when they learned that Hang Feng had comprehended the 7th profundity from the law of earth, the defense profundity. After Hang Feng comprehended the 7th profundity from the law of earth, the defense profundity, I'm afraid there are only a handful of people in the southern heaven ancient realm who are capable of breaching his defenses, right? Yes. I'm afraid only a few 10 directions celestial dukes who have comprehended 8 profundities from the law of earth would be able to break through Hung Feng's defense. Most importantly, that person was hired by the profound nether mansion. Don't tell me the profound nether mansion has hired someone to rank first in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm? Right now there are only a few days left before the scoreboard is reset. No matter how strong that person is, it's impossible for him to enter the top 30 unless he encounters Leng Yunyu from the Green Spirit Mansion or Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion. That's right. If he defeats Lu Ji and obtains Lu Ji's points, he'll be able to enter the top 30. If he encounters Leng Yunyu and defeats him, he'll be able to enter the top 10. Although the middle realm of the southern heaven territory isn't vast, it'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack for him to encounter Leng Yunyu and Lu Ji in just a few days. Currently, the people from the martial battle mansion thought Duan Lingtian was hired by the profound nether mansion. Otherwise, how could such a powerful person be an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? In the history of the southern heaven territory, many grade 6 celestial mansions had hired outsiders to enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. However, most of them had only hired outsiders to help the grade 6 celestial mansions rank in the top 20. None of the grade 6 celestial mansions had hired outsiders who were strong enough to rank first in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. For this reason, Duan Lingtian, who was hired by the profound nether mansion, had attracted a lot of attention from the martial battle mansion after he breached the defense of Hung Feng, who had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of earth. In fact, Many people who did not pay much attention to the scoreboard began to pay attention to Duan Lingtian's ranking. There are only a few days left before the scoreboard is reset. I wonder how many places Duan Lingtian will advance this month. At this moment, a large group of people had gathered at the transporting formations in the martial battle mansion that led to the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Many of them were looking at the name that was ranked 45th on the scoreboard. At this moment, it was as though the name that was ranked first was not as attractive as the name that was ranked 45th. While the martial battle mansion was shocked by Duan Lingtian, the other grade 6 celestial mansions who were paying attention to Duan Lingtian were shocked as well. In the profound nether mansion, the other grade 6 celestial mansions were also shocked by Duan Lingtian's performance in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. As a grade 6 celestial mansion where Duan Lingtian resided, it was only natural that Duan Lingtian's name was in the top 50. When Duan Lingtian first arrived at the transporting formations in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, many people thought Duan Lingtian was only there for sightseeing. They thought so because Duan Lingtian was personally escorted there by Qi Tianming, one of the 10 inspectors of the profound nether mansion, and because Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. How could a young man who was not even 100 years old enter the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm to compete on the scoreboard if he was not there for sightseeing? Soon after, Duan Lingtian entered the top 100. At that time, some people thought Duan Lingtian had cheated, but most of them thought Duan Lingtian was just lucky. Then, Duan Lingtian killed Gong Sun Jing, an inner court disciple from the Azure Green Mansion, one of the profound nether mansion's enemies, and rose to the 52nd place. At this moment, the people who thought Duan Lingtian had cheated and Duan Lingtian's luck had disappeared. Instead, they were discussing Duan Lingtian's background. There were 3 transporting formations in the profound nether mansion that led to the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. At this moment, the 3 transporting formations in the profound nether mansion were even more crowded than the transporting formations in the martial battle mansion. This was especially true at the transporting formation where Duan Lingtian entered the southern heaven ancient realm. Many people were asking the elder who had helped Duan Lingtian obtain the accumulative point Jade. Elder, is Duan Lingtian really not even 100 years old? Elder, is there anything special about Duan Lingtian? Is he even human? Elder, when you helped Duan Lingtian obtain the accumulative point Jade, did you expect him to achieve such a result? At this moment, the elder from the profound nether mansion who helped Duan Lingtian obtain the accumulative point Jade was akin to a celebrity from Earth in Duan Lingtian's past life. He was surrounded by reporters who bombarded him with questions. Duan Lingtian, is the external help Inspector Qi found? Patrol Inspector Qi, where did you find such external help? As time passed, most of the people in the profound nether mansion no longer doubted Duan Lingtian's strength. After all, many of the elders from the profound nether mansion were on good terms with the elders from the martial battle mansion. Therefore, they learned about Duan Lingtian's shocking feat of eliminating 11 people from the martial battle mansion in just 15 minutes. Among the 11 people from the martial battle mansion, there were also Heng Feng and Liu Xiaozhou, 2 people who could enter the top 100 every month. Duan Lingtian comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space. Heng Feng from the martial battle mansion had cast 7 profundities from the law of earth, including the crystal barrier profundity and the defense profundity. However, Duan Lingtian still managed to break through his defenses. If Duan Lingtian didn't show mercy, Heng Feng would have died. Heng Feng was almost killed by Duan Lingtian even after he comprehended the defense profundity. Heavens! Apart from being a 10 directions celestial duke, Duan Lingtian has comprehended the law of space as well? Moreover, he has comprehended the law of space's profundity as well? Is he really not even 100 years old? The fact that Duan Lingtian isn't even 100 years old has been confirmed by too many people, to the extent that we have no choice but to believe it. I really wonder where Inspector Qi found such external help. Patrol Inspector Qi might not be able to find such external help, right? I think Lord Mansion Master is the one who sent Inspector Qi here. Inspector Qi is only here to bring Duan Lingtian to the transporting formation in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. That should be the case. More and more people began to think Duan Lingtian was hired by the mansion master of the profound nether mansion at a great cost. However, what they did not know was that, when the mansion master of the profound nether mansion learned about Duan Lingtian and his performance in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, he was stunned. Patrol Inspector Qi, this Duan Lingtian. What's going on? The mansion master of the profound nether mansion was a tall middle-aged man dressed in a dark green robe. He had a dignified expression on his face. After hearing about the Duanling Tian, he immediately sent a message to Qi Tianming. Because Qi Tianming was the one who brought him here, he knew nothing about it. Prior to this, he did not even know Duanling Tian existed in the profound nether mansion. The eyes of the mansion master of the profound nether mansion brightened immediately when he learned about the situation from Qi Tianming. It seemed like the profound nether mansion was finally going to have a new imperial tutor after 30,000 years. However, when he heard about the test the pavilion master of the imperial tutor pavilion had set for Duanling Tian, the joy on his face froze. Then he smiled wryly and muttered under his breath, "Grandmaster. Why would he set such a test for him? After all, he's not even 100 years old yet." For this reason, the mansion master of the profound nether mansion left his residence and made his way to the imperial tutor pavilion. Naturally, Duanling Tian, who was in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, was oblivious to all of this. If only there's a map with the locations of the other celestial mansions' bases. That way I can wait outside their bases. Duanling Tian, who had tasted the sweetness of victory outside the martial battle mansion's base, planned to find another celestial mansion's base and rob them of their points. Chapter 3140. I haven't seen a single person in the past 2 days and 2 nights, let alone a grade 6 celestial mansion's base. Ever since Duanling Tian left the martial battle mansion's base, he had not encountered any other grade 6 celestial mansions. However, he could still remember the location of the martial battle mansion's base and the profound nether mansion's base. After all, even if he eliminated the people from the profound nether mansion, he would not be able to obtain their points. Instead, he would only benefit the people from the other celestial mansions who were closest to the profound nether mansion. As for the martial battle mansion's base, he had eliminated 11 people in the past 2 days. Would there be anyone left? Would there be anyone waiting to return to the martial battle mansion's base? Why would the disciples from the martial battle mansion return? Even if they did not return to the base, they would still be sent back to the martial battle mansion. For this reason, Duanling Tian did not waste his time in the martial battle mansion's base. There are only 2 days and 2 nights left before the scoreboard in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm resets. It's obvious there aren't many people left in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. It'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack if we want to find more people. Duanling Tian thought to himself as he made his way through the teleportation profundity. At this moment he no longer harbored any hope of running into anyone else. It seems like I've entered the middle realm too late this month. I think I'll only have 41 points after I leave this place. Duanling Tian thought to himself as he brought out his accumulative point jade and weighed it in his hand. Meanwhile, Duanling Tian arrived at a mountainous forest with steep terrain. In the past, he had to tread carefully when he passed through mountainous forests with such terrain. However, at this moment he did not think there would be anyone here. Even if there were people here, they would not be strong at all. After all, most of the people who were ranked at the top were no longer in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. About half an hour after Duanling Tian relaxed, he suddenly came to a halt. At the same time he saw someone flying toward him. Swoosh! A figure shrouded in a green aura rushed towards him with the momentum of a thunderbolt. As the other party's hands moved, a blade made entirely of wind blades whizzed towards him. The saber hummed, and a sharp aura instantly enveloped Duanling Tian. All this happened in the blink of an eye. It was so fast that Duanling Tian couldn't react in time. After all, Duanling Tian was completely relaxed just a moment ago. But so what? Teleportation profound. The wind blade was only a few meters away from Duanling Tian. It would only take a moment for the wind blade to land on Duanling Tian. However, just as the wind blade was about to land on Duanling Tian's body, Duanling Tian disappeared with a thought. For a moment, all the wind blades that were condensed from the wind blades slashed through the air. Teleportation? The figure, whose body was wrapped in green chi, suddenly paused. His pupils shrank slightly and a shocked expression appeared on his face. He was skilled in the law of wind. In terms of speed, not many people in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm were faster than him. Even so, Duanling Tian had still managed to dodge his attack. Moreover, Duanling Tian had disappeared from his sight without leaving a trace. What else could it be if this was not the law of space's teleportation profundity? Restraining profundity. At this moment, Duanling Tian, who had teleported behind him, cast the law of space's restraining profundity and shackled the area where the man was standing. Territory profundity. At the same time, Duanling Tian released his spatial territory that enveloped an area of 10 meters around him. With another teleportation, He appeared near the imprisoned figure and shrouded him in his spatial territory. At this moment, the figure turned around and met Duan Lingtian's eyes. Although Duan Lingtian had cast the restraining profundity and the territory profundity on the figure did not seem to be affected at all. The figure's body was shrouded in green chi with tiny wind blades that easily resisted the space energy in Duan Lingtian's space territory. Hanqing Mansion's Lu Ji? As soon as the figure turned around, Duan Lingtian saw the identity token hanging on the figure's waist. At this moment, Duan Lingtian recalled the words of a profound Nether Mansion's disciple he had heard before he entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Hanqing Mansion's Lu Ji has only entered the middle realm 5 days ago, but he has already accumulated so many points. Moreover, his points are still increasing. It seems like it won't be difficult for him to rank in the top 30. At that time it was his first time hearing about Lu Ji. Then he saw Lu Ji's name on the scoreboard. At that time, Lu Ji was ranked 33rd on the scoreboard with more than 100 points. It would take him less than 20 points to rank in the top 30. If Lu Ji didn't leave the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he should have been forcefully sent out today. After all, today should be his last day in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. An outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion? Duan Lingtian was looking at Lu Ji's identity token. Lu Ji was also looking at Duan Lingtian's identity token. Duan Lingtian? Lu Ji frowned. He had never heard of anyone in the profound Nether Mansion who had comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity. The teleportation profundity was one of the most peculiar profundities in the law of space. If an outer court disciple in the profound Nether Mansion had comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity, even if he had only comprehended the law of space's teleportation profundity and the space elemental profundity, he would not be a nobody. For this reason Lu Ji was confused. He had never heard of Duan Lingtian before. Apart from the space elemental profundity, the teleportation profundity, the territory profundity, and the restraining profundity, Duan Lingtian had comprehended 4 profundities from the law of space so far. An outer court disciple who had comprehended 4 profundities from the law of space? For such an existence, unless he had never displayed his strength in front of others, he would definitely not be a nameless figure. The distortion profundity. The cross-dimensional / profundity. Lu Ji was still puzzled by the fact that he had never heard of Duan Lingtian before. However, Duan Lingtian had no intention of stopping. He continued to cast the other 2 profundities from the law of space that he had comprehended, the distortion profundity and the cross-dimensional / profundity. In just a blink of an eye, the space around Lu Ji began to distort. The force of the distortion shattered the tiny wind blades hovering around Lu Ji's body. Rip. A spatial crack appeared in the void, followed by a buzzing sound. A gray blade light swept out from behind the spatial crack. The gray saber ray was the center of attention. Everything in the surroundings seemed to dim in comparison to it. The saber ray's target was Lu Ji. It seemed like it had no intention of slowing down at all. It was not difficult to see that if Lu Ji failed to break free from Duan Lingtian's spatial shackles, he would definitely be killed by the cross-dimensional / profundity. Don't let me see you next month. Lu Ji had a ferocious expression on his face as he spat out these words. Then he crushed the jade token that he had just taken out. The green light that shrouded Lu Ji managed to block the cross-dimensional / profundity for a brief moment before he was sent out of the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm by the transportation formation. This was the most humiliating time Lu Ji had ever been eliminated from the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. When he saw Duan Lingtian's identity token, he had assumed Duan Lingtian was just an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion. Although it was shocking that an outer court disciple of the profound Nether Mansion had comprehended 3 or 4 profundities from the law of space, it was not enough to threaten him. When he saw Duan Lingtian cast another 2 profundities from the law of space, making a total of 6 profundities from the law of space, he knew he had been careless. He should not have allowed Duan Lingtian to cast so many profundities from the law of space. At this moment, it was too late for him to block Duan Lingtian's attack. Even if he had comprehended 2 profundities from the law of wind, it would be impossible for him to break free from Duan Lingtian's shackles of space in such a short time. It would take time for him to break free from Duan Lingtian's shackles of space. However, he did not have that much time. If he tried to break free from Duan Lingtian's shackles of space, the cross-dimensional / profundity would have landed on him before he could even break free. Moreover, the cross-dimensional / profundity was so fast that he did not have enough time to block it. It was too late. It was too late. For this reason, Lu Ji was left with only one option. He had to crush his accumulative point Jade and leave the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm while he was busy blocking Duan Lingtian's attack. That way he would be able to escape with his life. Otherwise he would definitely die. However, even though he had decisively made such a choice, he was still very unwilling to accept it. If he had been prepared, he would have been able to defeat or even kill Duan Lingtian, who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. Even if Duan Lingtian had comprehended the teleportation profundity from the law of space, Lu Ji had comprehended 2 profundities from the law of wind. Therefore, he was confident he could catch up to Duan Lingtian's teleportation profundity. If I use my speed to evade his shackles of space and territory, and use my speed to catch up to his teleportation profundity, it won't be difficult for me to defeat or even kill him. In a way, my speed is the bane of his existence. Lu Ji thought to himself as he was sent away by the transporting formation. He was so frustrated that he was on the verge of losing his mind. However, no matter how frustrated he was still eliminated by Duan Lingtian. 113 points? As soon as Lu Ji's accumulative point Jade shattered, Duan Lingtian discovered the points in his accumulative point Jade had increased by 113 points. Initially he had 41 points. Chapter 3141. In Hanqing Mansion. At this moment, a figure appeared at one of the portals in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Lu Ji. It's Senior Brother Lu Ji. Senior Brother Lu Ji has come out. It's a pity that Senior Brother Lu Ji's ranking stopped at the 31st place. However, it's also because Senior Brother Lu Ji entered later. Otherwise, with Senior Brother Lu Ji's strength, it would not be difficult for him to enter the top 30. That's right. As soon as Lu Ji appeared, he immediately attracted the attention of many elders and disciples from the Hanqing Mansion. Many of them shifted their attention away from the scoreboard. For this reason they did not notice Lu Ji's name. As soon as Lu Ji appeared, his name, who was originally ranked 31st, had disappeared from the scoreboard. At the same time, his name, who was originally ranked 30th, had dropped by 1 place. As for the rankings after that, there were some timely changes. The names of those who were ranked after 45th all moved forward by 1 place. In fact, this was a huge change in the scoreboard. However, since most of the people in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm were focused on Lu Ji, they did not notice the change in the scoreboard. Meanwhile, an uproar broke out in the middle of the other portals in the Hanqing Mansion. Senior Brother Lu Ji's name has disappeared. Heavens! Senior Brother Lu Ji's name has disappeared. Is he eliminated? Who's strong enough to eliminate him in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? Could it be the person who eliminated the Martial Battle Mansion's Heng Feng? That's him. Look, he already has 154 points and is ranked 25th on the scoreboard. It seems like he's the one who eliminated Senior Brother Lu Ji. Senior Brother Lu Ji had 113 points previously, and Lu Ji has 41 points now. With Senior Brother Lu Ji's points, Lu Ji has 154 points. The group of elders and disciples of the Hanqing Mansion looked at the 25th name on the scoreboard. Their eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Although the owner of this name had eliminated Heng Feng from the Martial Battle Mansion, Heng Feng had comprehended 6 profundities of a law and was in the process of comprehending the 7th profundity of that law, just like Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion. However, Heng Feng had comprehended the law of earth. On the other hand, Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion had comprehended the law of wind. Moreover, he had comprehended 2 profundities from the law of wind. He was much stronger than Heng Feng. In the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, only a handful of 10 Direction Celestial Dukes would be able to stop Lu Ji. But now Lu Ji had been eliminated. Duan Lingtian? After Lu Ji came out, he ignored the gazes of the surrounding people. His gaze immediately fell on the scoreboard and he quickly found the name that he hated to the bone. Immediately, he clenched his fists tightly, and his face became so gloomy that it seemed like water could drip out of it. At the same time, the surrounding group of people also noticed that something was wrong from Lu Ji's current state. When they followed Lu Ji's gaze and looked at the scoreboard, their pupils constricted and they all gasped in unison. Oh, how is this possible? Senior Lu Ji was also eliminated by Duan Lingtian from the Profound Nether Mansion. Who's Duan Lingtian from the Profound Nether Mansion? I've never heard of him before. Is he really an external help the Profound Nether Mansion hired? He must be an external help. If the Profound Nether Mansion has such a person, why did they keep him a secret until this month? It's impossible for such a person to be a nobody in the Profound Nether Mansion. I heard that Duan Lingtian is only an outer court disciple of the Profound Nether Mansion. If he's not an external help, how could he be an outer court disciple with his strength? I heard from a friend in the profound nether mansion that Duan Ling Tian isn't even 100 years old. Moreover, he's certain the profound nether mansion hired Duan Ling Tian. What? Duan Ling Tian isn't even 100 years old? Impossible. That's impossible. As more and more people spoke, some of them said they had heard that Duan Ling Tian was not even 100 years old. However, no one believed them. Lu Ji, is Duan Ling Tian from the profound nether mansion an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion? When the disciples of the Han Qing mansion saw Lu Ji's unsightly expression, none of them dared to question him. However, some of the elders from the Han Qing mansion did not hesitate to ask. Yes, he's an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. At the very least, his identity token is an outer court disciple of the profound nether mansion. Lu Ji replied in a deep voice. Is he really stronger than you? Another elder from the Han Qing mansion asked. If I wasn't careless, he would have been eliminated instead of me. Lu Ji's expression darkened as he stared at Duan Lingtian's name on the scoreboard. He snarled, if I encounter him again next month, I'll change my surname to his if I don't eliminate him. Lu Ji left as soon as he finished speaking. Lu Ji's words before he left also caused the eyes of the Han Qing mansion's group to brighten. This was because they could hear the confidence in Lu Ji's tone. This time, Lu Ji's elimination should really be due to his carelessness. After all, Duan Ling Tian had appeared out of thin air. Moreover, the profound nether mansion's outer court disciple token was hanging on his waist. It was only natural that they would be careless when they saw him. Lu Ji. Is he really less than 100 years old? Just as Lu Ji's figure was about to disappear from everyone's sight, another Han Qing mansion elder asked. A 10 directions celestial duke who has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. Do you think he's younger than 100 years old? Before Lu Ji's figure disappeared in front of everyone, he left behind these words. Of course, the reason why he said this was because he didn't use his divine sense to investigate Duan Ling Tian at all. When he discovered Duan Ling Tian, he immediately attacked. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought. He had originally thought that he could easily capture the person, but he had actually eliminated him. For this reason, he did not notice that Duan Ling Tian was younger than 100 years old. For this reason, when he heard someone say Duan Ling Tian was younger than 100 years old, his first thought was, ridiculous. Others might not know about Duan Ling Tian's strength, but he knew very well about it. After all, Duan Ling Tian was a 10 directions celestial duke who had comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space. How could someone like that be younger than 100 years old? It was impossible. He has comprehended 6 profundities from the law of space? After Lu Ji left, the group of Han Qing mansion's elders and disciples looked at each other. They could see the disbelief in each other's eyes. Although they had expected this outer court disciple from the profound nether mansion to be extraordinary, they were prepared for the possibility that he had comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space. However, it was not as shocking as Lu Ji's words. How difficult was it to comprehend 6 profundities from the law of space? It was not as difficult as comprehending 8 or 9 profundities from an ordinary law. Previously, my friend from the martial battle mansion told me that Duan Ling Tian has comprehended 7 profundities from the law of space. I didn't believe it at first, but it seems like it's true. A Han Qing mansion's disciple said at this moment. 7 profundities from the law of space? Are you sure? The rest of the Han Qing mansion's elders and disciples turned to look at the Han Qing mansion's disciple who had just spoken. If this was true, it meant that Lu Ji had not underestimated Lu Ji. Did this mean Duan Ling Tian did not use his full strength when he eliminated Lu Ji? In that case, even if Lu Ji was not careless, he might not be able to eliminate Duan Ling Tian. While the Han Qing mansion was shocked by the news of Lu Ji's elimination, the other grade 6 celestial mansions in the southern heaven territory, including the profound nether mansion, were similarly shocked. Duan Ling Tian, the profound nether mansion's disciple, has accumulated more than 150 points and is ranked 25th after just 5 days in the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm? Although there are many people who have accumulated more points than him after entering the middle realm for 5 days, none of them entered the middle realm of the southern heaven ancient realm at the end of the month. It's common knowledge that the closer one is to the end of the month, the slower one will be to accumulate points. Not only is Duan Ling Tian strong, but he's also very lucky. After all, he only managed to accumulate so many points because he encountered Lu Ji from the Han Qing mansion and eliminated him. His current ranking is second only to the profound nether mansion's Zhou Hongjie. It was Duan Lingtian's first time in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, and he managed to rank 25th after just 5 days. At this moment, all the Grade 6 celestial mansions in the Southern Heaven territory learned of his name. Although most of the Grade 6 celestial mansions knew Duan Lingtian was from the Profound Nether Mansion, most of them thought Duan Lingtian was hired by the Profound Nether Mansion to help the Profound Nether Mansion in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. In just a blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. When the scoreboard in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm came to a halt, the people in the middle realm were transported out one by one. Swoosh! Duan Lingtian returned to the transporting formation in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. When Duan Lingtian exited the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, a disappointed expression could be seen on his face. After all, he did not encounter anyone else in the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm for the next 2 days after he eliminated Lu Ji from the Hanqing Mansion. Duan Lingtian is out. As soon as Duan Lingtian exited the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he discovered he was surrounded by people. Many of them were staring at him with bright eyes. Soon after, their divine consciousness shrouded him. He's really not even 100 years old. Heavens, I thought it was just a rumor. I can't believe Duan Lingtian is really not even 100 years old. No one in the Southern Heaven territory has managed to enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm before the age of 100. Not only did Duan Lingtian enter the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, but he's even ranked 25th. That's because Duan Lingtian entered the middle realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm at the end of the month. I can't wait to see Duan Lingtian's performance next month. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.